What's going on? What's going on, good people? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that floated around quite a bit. It was a little controversy surrounding it. It was sort of related to the whole Sneeko going heel turn on really on Fresh and Fit, but more specifically on the manosphere or whatever that was. But the one thing that was embedded into that conversation is it was a discussion about how many sex partners should a man have. Myron Gaines said that, his advice he gives to men: have 50 sex partners before you consider getting married or a relationship. Sneeko disagreed with that. Abbott and Preach did some content on that. I'll be looking at a lot of that. We'll be breaking it down. We're breaking down a TED talk on how many sex partners, the effect that how many sex partners can have on men versus women, and blah, 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 the whole works. So we're going to be digging on in and going to be getting into that. So let's strap on in. Let's get ready to go. Where we at? Where's the intro? Can't find it. All right, here we go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
All right, what's up? What's going on, good people? Welcome back to an afternoon start time. There's a possibility I may starting these things a little earlier in the AM, but don't hold me to it. But hope everybody's doing well. Sending out important email. All right, there's that. Okay, just had to do a few things while we're getting things started. You know, I'm always dotting I's and crossing T's. But welcome to the show. Shout out to everybody in the building. Do appreciate each and every one of you. Lil Rock in the building says, yo. Celine in the building says, hey, BR. Emin Perry in the building says 50. That must be Myron. It's always Myron. Because Fresh really don't say a whole lot. So Fresh really don't say a whole lot. Anybody that says anything over there is Myron. You already know. Uneducated lame in the building. Celine says, I don't know if a man with 50 partners would know how to handle aversion emotionally. Interesting. Uneducated lame in the building says, let's get it. Celine goes on to say, the reason I bring up the whole V thing is they claim to want that. Yeah, but if you understand from the perspective that that Myron is talking about, that handling her emotionally will not be even something on the table. He's going to go back to Sudan or wherever he's from and going to get a version that will be basically arranged to him. He's basically going to just go buy a wife. Her emotional thought process, well-being, or wants and desires will be irrelevant. She will be ordered, commanded to submit to whatever his wants and desires is, or get sent back home to Sudan in a box. I mean, in a first-class flight. So, so that's why you're Americanizing an aspect of it, and that's part of the overlap that we're going to end up directly or indirectly getting into, the cultural overlap with even the whole process, the thought process behind a woman with a lower body count, of which I support. I don't want to go walking around holding hands at the mall with the town whore. Nobody does. Well, I'll take that back. Some people do. But there's there's a few conundrums in the process. And I'm okay with some of those conundrums because I understand that it's a dog-eat-dog world. And what I mean by that is, don't marry hoes. Okay. Also, have at least 50 sex partners before you get married. Okay, where are these women that you're going to settle down with going to come from? So it's like, bang all the American hoes, go find a wife from overseas. Maybe that's practical. And that's one of the areas where I run into a problem. It's like, there's no culturally sound macro advice that could be given in this American culture that could be applied to the majority of men and work for the majority of men. That's difficult. I could say, oh, this is what I did, this is what I do, beat my chest and say, that works for me. Okay, is that replicatable for a large group? That's where you run into, that's where you can run into the problem of even giving advice on this type of thing when it comes to the whole 50 partner game. With my saying 50 partners, that works for Myron. Myron could have 1,000 partners. He has a plan, a mechanism in place to where he could have 1,000 partners and then still go to Sudan and buy a virgin. Everything's gonna work for him, but broad macro advice, that's where it gets difficult. That's where it gets difficult, and it just turn into a dog-eat-dog world and just worried about yourself. Do what you want to do, what you got to do to make it work for yourself. Get your money up, increase your value. Have an abundance mindset and be on your purpose. Just start hand-picking talking points. Hand-pick a talking point, run with it. Okay, fine. You do that, and it works, and you get built up. And when you're ready to sit down somewhere, okay, you go and find a chick who's no doubt going to come from who is a good chance she'll come from the stock of this modern culture. It's a good chance she'll come from the stock of this modern culture. And then that's where the argument, find one young who hasn't been as tainted by this modern culture. But can you really truly avoid that? So it ends up with a situation where you as an individual, man, got to work your whole individual game and do your individual thing and try to make it work, chew the meat and spit out the bones with a lot of the prescriptions that people give, or prescriptions you may hear, or prescriptions you may think of yourself. Prescriptions that you may think of yourself. It does turn into that. But we're going to get into it a lot deeper. All right. Human chapter in the building. I'm going to shout out a few more people. It says, according to Islam, 50 partners means you might 50 times 100 equals 5,000 lashes. I don't know what you mean. Right there. Islam, 50 partners before marriage Okay, 50 partners before marriage. It says before marriage is a harem. RW in the building. Shout out to that brother right there. Good brother right there. Met him in person. Shout out to the human chapter. Shout out to Son Quay. Says, yes, 50. So when you find out she got dudes, you can be prepared. Yes, 50. When you find out she got dudes, you can be prepared. I don't know what you're talking about. Human chapter said Fresh has a 1,000 body count, so he claims I can care less what he claims. I do think that's a little funny, but not that funny. I mean, I don't know. I don't care. So Fresh and Fit, particularly Myron, says that trying to prepare y'all to do, who is y'all? I mean their audience. Okay. Trying to prepare y'all to not get cheated on by giving y'all these tips. This is for people who want to be high value. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, let's get into it. Shout out to Leo Anthony, says support Black media. Human chapter says the truth, most guys don't have 50 partners. That's, accurate. Oh, Sir Tice, yes, I meant to shout you out in the video. I forgot. But yeah. No, you sent me that one. I thought it was real interesting. And may potentially do a live stream on it, but I don't know. But yeah, no, that was interesting. That was interesting. That was definitely an interesting one. RM says, fun fact, don't paint Bernard Riley with the yaw brush. Rookie move. Yeah, it's only one person. Shout out to Dirty Folks who just abuses the word yaw and does it in the most sneaky, on purpose, sneak this kind of way possible. To where I'm not talking about y'all, but I'm about to frame this like I am talking about y'all. So if anybody outside looking in, it looked like I'm cooking everybody on the panel, even though I'm saying stuff they agree with, but I'm going to set it up like they don't. It's like, it annoys the hell out of me. I like Dirty Folks, but it annoys me when he do that. It annoys the hell out of me when he do that. Man, everybody up here saying crazy stuff, man. But anyway, let me go ahead and set it straight. And then set it straight with some stuff that doesn't negate anything that was said, that actually complements what was said. But then say, y'all believe this stuff that nobody said. It's not, I don't get it. I don't get it. But all right. So let's go ahead and get into it. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Okay, there's my phone. Make sure y'all hit the like button. We about to dive right on into this. It's a number of layers and factors in this thing. So let's strap on in. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it. How do I want to do that? Let's do this like that. Hey, that don't raise up properly. All right. Well, I'm working on stuff. Hold on. All right, we'll do that like this. We'll be like this. We'll
hold up.
We'll try to make that work. We'll make that bigger. All right. We'll play around with this. And right before I got started. Salty Balls in the building, dropping something hard and heavy on it. Let me blow this up, make this readable for me. Shout out to Deacon Salty Balls saying, thine recommends it is better to live for 50 maidens. Oh, no, hold on. Yeah, it's better to live for 50 maidens than die for 40. Woo, bars. It is better to live for 50 maidens than to die for 40 virgins. in an Abrams sack worth of coin. Abrams an accident unit of weight by today's convention weighs a, a half a Lizzo or average weight of an NFL middle linebacker. Deacon Salty Balls in the building. Deacon Salty Balls. Oh no, you got to drop it. We got to drop it. Where's it at? I'm waiting on it.
Suck on my chocolate salty balls. Put them in your mouth. Put them in your mouth and suck them and suck them.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Theo, we got to get a special greeting for Theo. We had one. I had one, but oh nope, it was monetized. It was demonetized, and SKC sent me one that was shorter. It was demonetized. We don't got a special one for Theo. The one I was getting demonetized and copyright struck over it, so I had to stop it for a second. But either way it goes, shout out to Theo wife. I'll get on that after the show. I will get on that after the show. But Theo wife with $51, I think not to be outdone by Salty Balls, he drops $51 on it. He says 50 women equals 50 problems. Why we need this? I only need one decent, loving woman. Okay, well, the question is, should men have at least 50 partners before marriage? It's a gaining or garnering the experience to know and understand women. Now, the hack and the cheat code that someone like yourself puts in is dealing with women from other cultures. You're a global citizen, but you do also know firsthand that even when dealing with women globally, it's not all peaches and cream. So we're going to break down the nuance of it. But dealing with 50 women over a period of time could mean 50 potential problems over a period of time. So we're about to get into that. We're about to dive right on into that. Certainly have my opinions on it. And Salty Balls back in here. Is that Salty Balls back in here with another one? Go ahead and click on that. Back in here with another one. He says, in Abrams, more so your sum today. Today is one Lizzo sack of coins. Shout out to Salty Balls in the building. Yes.
Suck on my chocolate salty balls. Put them in your mouth. Put them in your mouth and suck them and suck them.
Y'all not even letting me get into the show. Sending all the super chats. I do appreciate it. But Sir Tice in the building. Says Myron's cool, I guess, but at times he just says things for shock value. The high value man is overdone. I thought it was done. Because I had a healthy understanding that it was more or less a viral meme related and connected to Kevin Samuels' branding of his channel and of himself. But then after he died, I kind of hey, that was, touch on it, talk about it in the sense, the little bit that it, still got a little legs in the algorithm, but that was his thing. And whenever, anybody asks him, what's the definition? I always just said, the definition is Kevin Samuels' definition because he's the only reason we're using the term. So I just go with his definition and I don't overuse it or overstate it or, it's not that much of a thing. It was never my thing. It was just an algorithmic tool to use in how we frame certain conversations over a period of time when Kevin Samuels cemented that thing into the algo. But anyway, he said, Myron's cool, I guess, but at times he just says things for shock value. Everybody says things for shock value or makes blanket statements. But I think he does do a decent job at parsing it out when he has to parse it out. But sometimes you just throw out the wild statement and then people hear it they pick it up and then they overreact to it, and then when they come and talk to you, you break it down a little better. So that's how it goes. He says, does anyone think, i.e. Gates, Bezos, etc., 4 billion had 50? Are they not high value men based on K as a definition? Okay, now I see we got to play the tape. The 50 sex partners was not the path to being a high value man. That was just him saying that's what he thinks should happen before you get married. You should garner and gain that much experience with women. So before you consider getting married, so you just don't be that goofy dude who married as he said, marries the first woman that touches your pee-pee, and then you just go and get married. Like, no, he's saying don't do that. He's ultimately saying don't do that. Gain some experience with women. So we're gonna break it down in Theo and Salty Balls. Y'all cut it out now. Y'all knock it off with this.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Yeah. Appreciate the love and support. He says, I never thought of having more women as being beneficial, honestly. I was happy when I was married. I didn't need 50 women before marriage either. That's just 50 chances for 18 years of child support. I left I think he means, yeah, my camera is blocking it. Yeah, I got to switch my setup. But he said, I left them 304s alone. That's what we're going to get into. We're going to get deep into that. We're going to get deep into that, because I think hookup culture in this whole modern dating world, it affects different people differently. And for some people, yes, I think there's actually a lot to that. That when you if you get too far into the whole hookup culture and everything, and yeah, you're just increasing the probability, the opportunities for things to go awry in your life. That much is true. That much is absolutely 100% true. And that's something that we can't discount. It's almost like alcohol. Some people are going to do it and just going to drink responsibly and just have a few and have fun. Some people are going to overdo it and it's going to ruin their life. But where do you draw a hard line? Men shouldn't be drinking alcohol. Poindexter Heel Turn says, not sure why people like Destiny. I don't think anybody likes Destiny, but I do think he's a worthy contrarian and a worthy detractor. I do think he is that, but like him? No, I don't think anybody likes him. No. But he is a worthy contrarian. I got to give him that. Tech Nobility in the building says the issue becomes the quality of these women. You are letting experience you, and you are gaining experience with them as well. But what are the quality of these women? Is it if it's random beat up rundown women? What did you gain there? I get it. He says these lame dudes don't value themselves. Now, why are you calling them lame? I do take some issue with that. He says, if any chick can get you, then you're the equivalent of a $5 Walmart bin. Nobody said any chick can get you. I think I would assume Myron has a standard of some sort. I would assume.
What do we get for $10? Everything you want.
I would assume Myron does have a standard. I do want to get into this, but Deacon Salty Balls is in here, says just fuck it, one whole Lizzo.
20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140.
That's $100.
Suck on my chocolate chocolate salty balls. Put them in your mouth. Put them in your mouth and suck them and suck them.
All right, I'm playing the tape. We starting the show.
Use a condom too. No, it doesn't. It says get a vasectomy. That was the advice. Stop trying to. You're coping,
That's
bro.
number 3. Number 2 says avoid what?
The hypocritical part about it is that we make fun of girls all the time for not controlling their sexual urges and being hoes all the time. Like, she belongs to the streets, all this stuff. You tell guys that they're losers if they don't go to the gym. They're losers if they play video games. You're a loser if you smoke weed. You're a loser if you watch sports. You need to exercise discipline. But when it comes to girls, oh shit, get a vasectomy because you can't control yourself, because you're not capable of exercising discipline. Why do you have to be disciplined in every single aspect of life? Networking, success, all this stuff. Watching sports, playing video games, you need to be on your stuff. But for women, nut inside girls after getting a transgender surgery.
All right. That was the one that was going hella viral. When Sneeko, went heel turn on the space. I think there's a lot of things where he's not making some sense. There's a lot of things where he said he wasn't making sense, but however, he does have a point. Let's just make that one clear. Sneeko has a point on that one, that when you're exercising discipline in every other area of your life, if the advice is have no discipline when it comes to women, that is a problem. So he has a point there. Now let's back up, okay? Now let's back up. Let's talk Rollo Tomasi and the reasons why all of this got started and all of this got into that, because Rollo Tomasi gave the 6 steps of being a high value man. Yeah, that's Sneeko. That said that's your first time seeing Sneeko. Yes, that's him. And there's older tapes of him where he basically grew up on YouTube. Okay, he's been on YouTube for at least 6-7 years, and he's only 24. So take that to mean whatever you want. Because when he started out, he wasn't talking red pill stuff. Then he started doing an Andrew Tate, Myron Gaines impression, and then now he's going back. And he's doing a whole full 180. So that part is weird, but the fact of the matter is there are some things that can come from it. Now, this is what I said. When it comes to hookup culture, different people are going to be affected differently. I think there are some men who can responsibly engage in it. They can do it responsibly. And then there are some men who are not going to do it responsibly. So I think it varies from individual to individual. But the only thing where it turned into a problem, Myron and Rollo, they were de facto, if not full, they were given a prescription. It's one thing to describe the market. It's another thing to give a prescription to the problem. If the prescription involves go out there and have sex with a lot of women, then there are some things you can poke and prod and pick apart with that. Because there is a such thing as exercise and discipline. When I was fresh out of my marriage, I got married to my first. When we got a divorce, I couldn't wait to get out there and go get some new pussy. I couldn't. Guilty as charged. Couldn't wait to get out there. I was taking all comers, and I didn't put up no Wilt Chamberlain numbers, but it was a lot of experience. Okay. It was a lot of experience that I had. And that experience can be a bit time consuming. Now, some people could get that same experience and only use 5% of their time to do it. For me, it was taking up a lot of my time. Yeah, salty balls, all comers, literally. All comers, literally. It was taking up a lot of my time. It was ruining, aspects of being productive. Because it's just a lot of work to be out there. You're spending a lot of time, whether you're texting, you're talking, you're swiping, you're online, talking to girls, you're constantly checking this and checking that. Then you're meeting up with chicks, and you're going places, and then you're doing things, and some people can get to put up the same numbers, just nonchalant with it. Me, I had to actually try. I had to put in effort. I had to put in time, effort, energy, and time. And yes, it did result in me not being productive. I had a job that I went to. I did my job. I did the job. Did the work. Came home. Got a check on Friday, but I wasn't working towards anything. The time that I would have been working towards building something, that time that was effort putting in, trying to get at chicks. All right. So I did figure out a way to consolidate that. I did end up figuring out a way to consolidate that where, I ended up just dealing with one chick. Because she was cool and everything was going great. And then she ended up being my girlfriend. And we still together. And then that way I was kind of freed up. The chasing wasn't going on. The constant pursuit and all of that wasn't going on. I was free. So I got one cool one, and that freed up my time to start working on things, building things, and developing things. So you do have to figure out a way to properly play the game. But I will say this, and I'm going to hold back on saying this because it's going to get into, I got to make sure I lead into it properly. So before y'all understand what I'm saying, I'm going to make sure I lead into it properly. But Nico was not wrong. There's discipline that needs to be had. And if you're selling just outright, and I'm not 100% sure that Myron is saying that, but it's like kind of implied in there. I'm not sure that Rolo is saying that, but it's sort of, you're talking about a guy that got married, early and still married. But if you got to get a vasectomy and they're not as reversible as people think, then yes, you are playing the game from a perspective that you're not going to be able to resist or restrain yourself from, having unprotected sex with these women. That's what it reeks of. But let's go.
See, we didn't quite lose Sneeko there. We didn't quite lose him. He's still there. They're still there. He's still there.
Now, let's keep in mind, even though he was right about that, there's a bunch of outright blue pill stuff that he's saying now that I can't get jiggy with. But I do got to give credit when credit is due on that one.
That's funny. He said,
we heard what he said. We heard what he said. Shit.
Getting a vasectomy and a transgender surgery. That's funny. It ain't a transgender surgery, but it's funny to call it that.
That's the one thing you can't be disciplined in.
Sneeko, what did number 2 say? Avoid family creation. It could be condom or plan B, but he just saying to be extra
another
careful.
form of contraception is what it is, basically.
But he didn't say that. And that's not a good form of contraception because it's not supposed to be reversed. That's what the doctor tells you when you get a vasectomy surgery. It's like, you cannot expect this to be reversed. You shouldn't go into that thinking that you're going to reverse it. And
that's true as well. I'm 40. I plan on getting this. My youngest son is 15. I plan on getting a vasectomy because I don't plan to have no more kids. So I am shutting it down. I wouldn't get one thinking that I'm going to reverse it someday. So it is, if you're thinking about doing that, you should know for sure that you're not having no more kids. So it can be reversed, but you shouldn't go into it thinking that it will. It's not birth control.
Also, a better advice, instead of saying never fuck again, maybe for the women that I do have sex with, prepare that she could be the mother of your children.
Now, here's okay. Now, this is where a small bit of hypocrisy is coming in right there with Abba. Okay. This is where a small bit of hypocrisy is coming in with Abba. I saw him in an interview with Adam 22, and they both were talking about how, the pressures, or not even the pressures, the trials and tribulations, and the emptiness that you feel when, having sex with, I don't know, over 22 women per month. Adam 22, Abba, these are guys that have been YouTube, been technically famous for a long time, and they obviously leverage their money and status to get girls and sleep with a lot of girls. And when I heard them having that conversation, when I heard them having that conversation, they both were talking about, you know, they were basically talking about sleeping with a lot of women, how you get tired of it. So it's like you so on one hand, he can't criticize the promiscuity that is talked about in the red pill. And when guys are talking about get your money up, build your money up, build up your money and status, and then getting with chicks will become easy when Abba is currently living that lifestyle. You know, there's a lot of guys currently living that lifestyle, but criticizing the concept of it when they hear red pill people do it. So that's kind of a, you know, you're kind of in contradiction doing that for criticizing it, because the fact of the matter is most men in this modern world with modern women are not going to only have sex with a woman if they're looking at her as a potential mother of their children. Now, you should understand the consequences of sex and proceed forward understanding what it could resort to. You should understand the consequences of sex and proceed forward understanding what it could potentially resort to and be prepared to deal with those consequences. But I don't, it's only a few men of like the Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson variety, and you know, a lot of those, you know, conservatives married for 30 years conservatives be having side pieces and caught in hotels with hookers and all kind of stuff. But there are a few people who are in position to legitimately make that statement. Sneeko is not, because he's been doing an Andrew Tate impression for like the last 2 years. Abbott is not, because I heard him in an interview with Adam 22 when they was both talking about how exhausted and how exhaustingly empty it is to just be banging so many chicks. But they were talking about it from a, you know, happy to do it standpoint, but they were just saying, it really don't mean nothing, but yeah, I'm doing it and I'm gonna keep doing it. You know, that's sort of how it came off. It's only a handful of people who can truly speak like that from a moral authority standpoint. I don't care to hear people who are, you know, living the opposite of that life trying to criticize somebody who's explaining, you know, reasons why men should bare minimum thrive to be in position to live that life. You know, if you are in position to live that life, you've done well in life. That's kind of how it works for men. Yeah, you build yourself up, you get your money up, you get your status up, you become a global citizen, the world becomes your oyster. You should try to conquer as a man like that. And what comes with that is women. And you got to proceed forward responsibly, even though you understand that women come with that territory and you got to proceed forward responsibly. I think everybody can agree on that, but the whole, you know, pretending like one's I don't know why I just started coughing. Pretending like one side is doing something absolutely morally reprehensible. Now, I will say this, and men do this, we do try to over intellectualize promiscuity because we like it. And we're going to get into that later. And we're going to let's look at a TED talk of a woman trying to intellectualize promiscuity. A lot of people do that. But I think what it comes down to, a lot of people live the lifestyle. If it makes you feel good, do it responsibly. There it is.
Maybe don't spend time with hoes all the time thinking, I need to fuck 50 girls so I understand feminists and how retarded they are. Maybe just don't fuck them. Maybe fuck women that you can see yourself having a family with. When you first, hold on, that's a very good point. You won't be able to detect that though unless you have experience having a family with. When you
even Destiny, who after Sneeko said that, he was like, ooh. I gotta pause this thing and go grab some water. This coffee is not scratching the itch in my throat right now. But even Destiny can't say that. I remember I heard Destiny say to him and his wife, they hook up with other girls. He be having threesomes with, you know, he be having threesomes with baddies all the time and stuff. Like he said, he's a heatonist. He loves, you know, if you're a heatonist, your life is just all about pleasure, you know. Women aren't having sex with him because of his. What the hell does that mean? Where did that music come from? Okay. Women aren't having sex with him because of his strikingly good looks or his his physique. It's his money and status that got him to the point where he can have threesomes with baddies. It's like everybody in the conversation is doing it. All right. Everybody in the conversation is doing it, but it's some people judging others for doing it or saying they shouldn't do it while simultaneously engaging in it. That's where this conversation got weird to me.
Hold on. That's a very good
You won't
point.
be able to detect that though unless you have
Exactly. You
experience.
need experience.
You need experience, bro.
How
How
would
do
you
you
know?
wait? No. How do you need experience? What does that mean?
How would you know what's good for you if you never had it?
The red pill advice is you need 50 bodies.
No,
So
I want to open this one up.
Let's go.
Do you think you need to fuck a girl to tell if she's like family material?
No.
Okay, RM, you are right. Go ahead and play the music. I'm gonna go get some water. I wasn't sick before I started doing the damn show. How did I just start coughing? I'm letting out COVID level coughs right now. Y'all give me a second.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Your confusion is not rational. She's a healthy female of breeding age.
It's morphin' time!
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah! All right. I'm back. But my point. Everybody in this conversation, from what I could see, uses their money and status to bang a lot of chicks. Some people in the conversation are criticizing the act of using money and status to bang a lot of chicks and saying the red pill is wrong, when aspects of the red pill is the reason why they do what they do. Well, that would is a function of how and why they doing what they're doing. All right, that already feels a little better. Thank you, RM, for entertaining people with the drops and everything while I had to go get some life-saving water. I was going to be dead on the air, but all right.
We're saying experience-wise.
What is experience?
No. Dating, courting, having that one-on-one experience. Okay, she likes this, she doesn't like this. This is weird. This doesn't work. I can tell from experience what works.
Wait,
now,
what does any of that have to do with fucking?
No,
or...
hold on, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Now, adding in sex, you can understand. Okay, once this point has passed, I can see who she really is. Remember, people put on front at the very beginning.
All right, now notice and keep in mind, Destiny did say, "What does that have to do with fucking her?" And they're trying. This is one of the things that I really wanted to pick apart. Preach about to get into this, but this is one thing that I really wanted to pick apart in this process.
Yo, other than sex, there's some things that are more telling of who the person really is. Okay? 1, watch who they are when they drive. 2, try to put a IKEA furniture together. 3, go on a trip with that person. That's how you see how really someone is. 4, go to a restaurant. See how they treat someone that they have power over and can do nothing for them. There's other things in life more than fucking that you're going to be able to do that's going to be tell signs of what the person is. As a matter of fact, I could tell you.
All right. All right. Now, here's the deal. They're framing the argument as if women are slot machines, or you put a coin in it and then you just start humping on it. It's like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. I talked about how after I got a divorce, and then because I married my first, was married 11, 12-ish years, I got a divorce. Okay. After that divorce, I shut up, Jackie. They don't need to fix their floor. I like that they do their show on that old squeaky floor. That's actually pretty cool that they don't care nothing about their production. that's actually pretty. I respect that in a weird way. That they like, nope, we just gonna come here and wing it, and it is what it is. But they're very successful at it. So it's like it's like they give off the energy like they're winging it, but you can't be that successful and wing it, but it just looks like they're winging it. And so that's a good niche. That's a good niche. I actually respect that. Anyway, here's the deal. After my divorce, like I said, I wanted casual sex. I wanted experience with women. I just wanted to, because I'd only really truly technically experienced. Well, I mean, it was the woman who was my first. Okay, she was my first. That was in high school. We broke up a little bit, and then it was somebody else, and then me and her got back together, and then so forth and so on. Was married. Okay, all right. So I wanted more than anything just some sexual variety. Went 12 years, one person. I wanted some sexual variety. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Absolutely 100%. So over a period of time, did I have sex with over 50 women? Yes. Did the physical act of sticking my dick inside of them help me gain experience and knowledge that helped me when in choosing the woman that I'm with now? The physical act of sex did not do it. However, like I said, they're not slot machines that you just put some coins in and then you just hop on like it's a ride at the fair. You give your ticket, you just walk up, you hand them your ticket, and then you hop on like a ride at the fair. No. The process of pursuit, of getting to know them, of talking to that person, the whole works, everything that leads up to the sex, everything that's happening after the sex, basically all the things that that Preach was describing ends up being things that you do in the pursuit of sex or during a sexual relationship or encounter with a woman. Those are the things that you end up seeing, that you end up doing, that you end up observing, that you end up understanding, and through that experience and understanding everything that I came to understand about women, because you'll end up finding more about women damn near from the women that you end up not having sex with as well as the ones that you end up having sex with. So if you have sex with 50 women, you've probably had interactions and discussions and all kinds of stuff with over 250 to maybe 500 women. You've had so much experience. And that experience that I had during that period of time, post-divorce, up until me being in a relationship that I'm in now, had I not had all that experience, had I not just talking about just had I not had sex with 50 women, I'm saying, put it like this: everything that I learned in the process of dealing with women, experiencing women, post-divorce, had I had all that knowledge and experience prior to getting married, I would have never married the woman that I married. Just flat out. Like, that is just the hard, flat out truth. I would have never married the woman that I married had I had the experience that I gained after being married to her, had I had that experience before marrying her. It's like to discount the experience, like that's wild. And it shocks me that men would discount the experience, or they're trying to roll the argument down a really narrow hallway. They're trying to roll the argument down a really narrow hallway, like just the like the only thing that happens is just the physical act of sex, as if sex is just that easy to do, as if you're not understand, like as if you know you have sex with a woman and then she just disappears. You Thanos snap after you have sex. No, you and that woman continue on going forward. Y'all continue talking. Y'all continue communicating and dating and seeing each other, and you gain experience. And then you learn things about her. You learn things about this person. You learn things about that person. You learn and gather all this experience, all this database. Now, does the physical act of sex, is that the only way that you can learn all of that? Like, no. I don't know which one it was said. I don't know if it was Rolo, Tomasi, hell, it might have been Destiny. I forgot which one said it. It's like, as early and often as possible, you should be gaining experience and getting to know women. But one way that you definitely can truly get to know them, because if you're not that guy that got a bunch of female friends, you're not going to be getting to really truly know them. The way that you really truly get to know them in the context, in a romantic relationship type of context, is the act of pursuing them in a sexually or romantic kind of way. And the sexual romantic relationship, however it's defined, that's how you get to know them. That's how you sharpen your tools in understanding women. Now, there's an argument, well, you need to pick or pull from, certain types of women, and then that's how you shield or protect yourself. But then I would submit to that and argue this, that many of them have very similar ideology. So when I like the women that I was with, that I was dating, wasn't all just ratchet 30. It wasn't just ratchet 304s. Like, no, they were women. They were normal, regular, adult women in this modern world. The experience was experience, and the experience helped me to understand women. It's hard to get around that. It's hard to get around that. And if you go in blind and you marry your first, there are some things you don't know. Now, if we were in a solid culture where people were raised a certain way and cultured a certain way, and divorce was frowned upon and wasn't incentivized, and it was looked at as a form of duty, then that's one thing. That's one thing. If it was looked at as a form of duty, then it could be a situation where you could do it. You could just do it. You could be a virgin and marry a virgin. I mean, I think that statistically works out, but there are no virgins. All right. There are no virgins. The woman that you deal with is going to be a modern woman in this modern world. You have to build the framework and the mechanisms to sift through the ones who aren't as good, who aren't as corrupted by this world, and the ones that are. And the way that you gain that experience is pursuing them sexually and romantically, and you do got to get a lot of reps in. And in the midst of those reps, yes, you're going to end up having some sex. And that's just the reality of what it is. I had to type something. Give me a second. All right. All right. Where we at? He says, I think BR, you may be speaking from a perspective of a guy who actually got out in the field. The Fresh and Fit audience would probably just buy 50 hookers and take the easier route. Okay, you're rolling the argument down the same narrow hallway that Destiny and Abbott and Preach and Sneeko is rolling the argument. I'm pretty goddamn sure that Myron is not saying, like, I mean, if that's the case, he might as well say, fuck 50 sex dolls, and then you will understand women. Like, we know he's not saying that. Like you have to know that he's not saying just like, why would you assume that somebody is that dumb to think that if I just pay X number of dollars, pump back and forth for 5 minutes, I'm going to have an understanding of women. It's the pursuit that gives you the understanding. It's the post sexual experience with them that gives you the understanding. The physical act doesn't give you the experience with them. Me having a lot of casual relationships with women helped me to understand women. And the woman that I'm with now, it did start out casual. It started out casual, and I could see where she was clearly different from the other ones. I could see the areas where she was clearly something different, and I stopped caring about the other ones. The other ones just fell. They just fell by the wayside. Lost complete interest in them. Going in blind. I'm thinking of like some of the first few chicks I messed with post marriage. Had I not experienced that marriage, those chicks would have been just fine. And they weren't horrible people. They just would have been horrible for me to be with in a serious relationship. Dating them let me see that. Like, that part is not hard. Dating them let me see that. Like, we can't in one hand say these modern women are messed up, and then we can't say that a guy doesn't need to spend time filtering through them to figure out what's what. Now, if a guy could somehow figure out a filtration process of learning, sexually romantic experience with women without being sexually romantically involved with them, then if there's a way to do that, then I'm all ears. Technobility says Myron didn't say dating. Yeah, he said having sex with them, but I really don't think he meant buying 50 hookers. In order to have, see, this is where it gets goofy. You're acting like they're slot machines that you could just put money in, and then you pay for the ride, and then you can hop on it. In order to have sex with that many women, you have to date a lot of women. You have to talk to a lot of women. You have to pursue a lot of women. You have to experience a lot of women. And it's like the experience that I gained, and keep in mind, I wasn't thinking of a body count number. Yeah, I made 50. No, I just experienced a lot of women, and I built up enough experience to where I came to know and understand the modern woman and what she was. There's only so many ways to understand that. And if you operate on the premise, I'm going to show something that's going to prove that majority of them are modern women. I'm going to show you a sophisticated, educated woman trying to intellectualize hookup culture. I'm going to show you a sophisticated, educated woman with a PhD trying to intellectualize in a TED talk, promiscuity and having multiple sex partners for women. They're not that different. They're not that different. And a man who goes in blind with little experience in this Western world trying to be a traditional man for a modern woman, he is putting himself at a huge disadvantage. Leo Anthony says, Bernard, come on, man. You can't tell Myron and Fresh don't get women like that. If you think they don't get women like that, you're crazy. Now, is Fresh out there just, minus the Fresh and Fit podcast, is Fresh out there just getting women off his game and good looks? No. But right now, you're talking about two men who got the greatest funnel on earth. We're talking about famous millionaires who have 10 baddies come into their living room every night. Like, you are silly if you don't think that they're having sexual experience. If you don't think they're getting some ass occasionally, you are insane. You are insane. They're famous millionaires in Miami's who their job allows them to be around baddies 24/7. You're crazy if you don't think they're having sex. All right, this is where y'all turn into strags. Okay. Myron got an OnlyFans chick pregnant. I don't trust this dude's judgment. And Fresh gets curved by white girls on camera. Don't matter. Don't matter. I'm not. Listen, I'm taking what they're saying as a backdrop to say what I got to say. If they do goofy stuff, which I have no doubt that they do. Yes, they do goofy stuff. I have no doubt that they do. They make mistakes. I have no doubt that they do. But if you start with the premise that these men are not getting sex, then I think you're very delusional. Then I think you're pretty delusional. Okay. Y'all are taking is literal. First steps in filtering through these women is to have conversations with them. The first step to having sex with the woman is conversation. To sex with women is conversations with them. Like, what are we talking about there? You don't just go and hop on the back of them like you're riding a horse. There's been some times where I've had sex with women very early on into the process. I don't think I really learned anything. The quicker to eat, if I had sex with a woman that I knew for 3 hours, that actually happened before, then not a lot was learned there other than that some women are easy. But then the woman that I had a hard time having sex with, she probably was easy to somebody else. So it helped me to learn that they all can be fluctuatingly easy on a sliding scale to some degree, or I should say most of them can be fluctuatingly easy on a sliding scale to some degree, depending on the guy and the day and whether or not it's their birthday weekend or whatever, you know. But if, okay. Maybe I interpret things differently. Maybe I think differently. When I hear someone say having sex with 50 women, I don't hear buying 50 hookers. I hear be out there dating and interacting with a lot of these women. I hear dating and I hear dating. You can't have sex with them without dating them. Like, put it like this. If you like, all right. He says capping for Rolo was a huge mistake. Yeah, that trying to defend that vasectomy comment, that was stupid. That was an area where I would say that was stupid. Well, Rolo would have had to have typed that, not even understanding that that it's technically not reversible. A lot of people think it's reversible. A lot of people think it's reversible because it technically can be reversed, but you shouldn't expect that it's going to work. It can be reversed. If you get one at if you get one, they talked about that. If you get one at 20 and then you try to reverse it at 25, there's a good chance that it might work. But what sense does that make to get one at 20 and reverse it at 25? So it's really no sense to get it unless you don't ever want to get it undone. But all right, let's get into it. Let's get back into some more of it.
A lot of people I've seen in toxic relationship was staying because the pussy or the dick was good. I had nothing to do with how they were, because how they were was really garbage, was trash. They were garbage human beings. He don't like when I say that. I'm going to tell you, I know them people. Garbage human beings. But the people stay because the sex was good. So the sex thing really is something on the side. It doesn't tell you how the person is.
I'll go a step further.
Oh, go ahead, step on.
I don't think sex tells you much about a woman. I think it does tell you something about a man, though. Because the people who I see switch up after sex are generally dudes.
There's truth in that one. What the heck is my phone making so much noise for? Definitely truth in that one. If you're talking about that early pursuit process and the dude who get it and then switch up, but those are the dudes that be on the mode 3 shit. The dudes will be on that mode 3 stuff, kind of switch up the mode 1 or mode 2. Mode 1 being very direct about what you want. Mode 2 being kind of indirect, but not full-blown outright lying, but just being a little vague and, and just kind of letting it flow. I was more in that category, just kind of let it flow into it. But if you just outright lying, pretending like you want a relationship, and then you get sex from a woman, and then you snap into who you really are, then yeah, that what he's saying right there is definitely true for that person. But either way it go, and again, I'm realizing that I perceive this discussion differently from a lot of people, because even people in my audience, and I think my audience is pretty intelligent, but a lot of y'all are perceiving it the same way that Abba, Preach, Destiny, and Sneeko is perceiving it, that he's that Myron is basically saying buy 50 hookers. The conversation that I'm having is, if you are interested in a successful long-term relationship, i.e. a marriage, if you are interested in that, if there isn't any major framework, cultural backing, what kind of experience must one have with women in order to think that he actually can be confident in the one that he chose in this modern world? That's the discussion to me. To just say that he's saying if you buy 50 hookers, then you understand women. I think that's a straw man that a lot of y'all are trying to pin on the discussion.
Because yes, once they get the women right now, I know they in the comments being like, okay,
yes,
y'all know,
yeah,
you want to know why? Because I've changed ever since.
You changed up,
and women always complain everything was great, then we slept together. I was like, yeah, because sometimes they only in it for that. So I'm just saying, generally with the women, what ends up happening is that they just become more into you. That's it. That's really it. Yup. I'll be honest with you, I've talked to a lot of guys, and all they ever say after sex with women is like, she became more attached. That's it. It has nothing to do with whether or not she's wife material or marriage material. It's just that.
That part is absolutely 100% facts as well. That part is absolutely 100% facts as well. Women do get attached during sex. Those endorphins and all of that stuff that lets off. People be talking about pair bonding. I think pair bonding is nonsense. I just want to say that. But all the endorphins and stuff that's secreted that comes out during sex, yes, it causes women to get more attached during sex. So when you understand that, yes, they're modern women, but then they do have the ability to get attached. And if the right woman gets attached to you, it can be a wonderful thing. It can be a wonderful thing.
Emma, but ask ladies. Ladies have definitely said with a dude that noticed his behavior changed afterwards, or he became more distant, or he stopped responding to calls all of a sudden. So no, I think the reality is they're framing this as like, oh, you need to bang her to really see who she is. That is one of the dumbest ways to get to know someone. You want to know? You're going to have to spend some time observing her in all the areas. Hey, even when you live together, you're going to learn who that person really is.
Most dudes cannot have sex with a woman without spending time with her. Most dudes, after they have sex with her, they're happy that they had sex with her, and they want to have more sex with her, which means they're going to spend more time with her. In that time, you probably is going to learn reasons why this person ain't really for you for the long haul. That's the experience that comes. I think the argument is with the modern women being all over the place and no cultural backing, like the framework of, I don't know, some of the cultures that people fly to try to find other women, or like with the Jewish culture, like we talk about Ben Shapiro. He was a young Jewish man who married a young Jewish woman. Coming out of that culture, you can be pretty safe with your first. Coming out of this American culture, can you really truly just think you understand women and be safe with this woman? who, you know, you've only really had, you know, you had a high school girlfriend, a college girlfriend, and then dated one chick after college, then you met the fourth chick, and then okay, then boom, okay, you know women, you know women enough, you don't, you know, you can assess this woman properly. You got it figured out. Like, no, I don't think you have it figured out after limited experience dealing with these modern women in these modern culture. I think a man does need some reps. I just think he do. Again, we're not talking about buying a hooker. We're talking about the experience that comes with dealing with women. And within that experience, yes, there's going to be some sex. That's how I interpreted it. They talking about buying hookers to gain experience in women, then okay, then I won't make that argument. I won't stand by what they're saying. I'm not obligated to stand by what they're saying. Partially, I don't care what they say, but this did prompt a good conversation.
Before you live together, go on a trip together, plan some things together, see how you communicate with each other. That's how you is. And after that, from whenever things go bad, see how you're going to grow from that and make it not happen again.
Things that happen when you're dealing with women. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
That's what you're going to see. Fucking ain't going to be the one. But yeah, sure. Experience, as you say.
Let's go.
Ugh.
Mind you, Myron's never been in a relationship.
How many stories do you hear of husbands who are like, my wife used to blow me every single day, and then as soon as we got married, all the sex stopped? Or we have dead bedrooms now. We were super active our first year, but that is absolutely not true. Sex.
What?
No, he's saying the shit.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Yeah, she preaching?
He preach it.
She.
I don't even know.
No, it's just because I don't like the idea of a man just denying a woman her due credit. So just let it happen. Okay.
Absolutely change.
Just let it happen.
You got married. For you guys, you can probably tell just by looking at their Instagrams. Isn't that what you guys are like professionals at? Just picking out who's based on their Instagram pictures? You're telling me you have to through like 30 women to find a good, like, how many conservative men, like if we brought in like real conservative men who have strong families, how many of them are like, yeah, you know, I had to fuck 25 bitches when I was in college or to find the love of my life right now that can take care of my kids. That's a wild statement. If you want to fuck, that's fine. But don't pretend you're doing it for this altruistic purpose of finding a good mom.
And I also want to.
Now, it is some truth in that men do try to intellectualize promiscuity. It is truth in that. There's no way around that. We end up doing that here in this space. The fact of the matter is, you find those men who have good, healthy marriages and strong families. No, they're probably going to say, no, I didn't have to have sex with a certain amount of women in order to figure that out. What I'm saying, framing it a different way. Because I see everybody else is framing it in terms of the physical act of sex. I'm talking about gaining experience. I think a man needs years out there dating and dealing with women to gain an understanding of women in this modern world. That's the position that I stand on. That's the position that I stand on. I will open it up for someone to argue otherwise, that you could just be a guy and meet a woman. The first woman you have sex, and I'm speaking from experience here, because you're talking to a guy who married his first. You're talking to a guy after 11 years of marriage, got out there and experienced a lot of women. What I learned from experiencing dealing and dating a lot of women, had I had that knowledge that I experienced in those 5 years of being single, I would have never married the woman that I married. And I would not have had the filtration system to pick the excellent woman that I have now. That's where I'm saying, and it just so happened to be the case that, you know, that during that process, I did have sex with a relatively high number of women, that, you know, somewhere in the 50 area. But what I'm saying is, gaining experience dealing with women is paramount to understanding women. I don't know how that could be argued. I don't know how that could be argued. It could be argued if you roll the argument down a really narrow hallway, that we're basically saying, like, if you're treating sex with women as not dating women, experiencing women, getting to know women, the whole process, and you're talking about it like sex with women, like go ride 25 bikes. Like, no, that's not how people work. That's not how people work.
You guys to appreciate. Y'all notice these red pill dudes say all this goofy shit, but none of them seem to have stable families or marriages. You know what I mean? Like, vast majority of them don't seem to have their shit together.
Or when they do, it's always what they're preaching against.
Is it like what if she throws it?
He's taking a shot at at Donovan Sharp on that one.
Why? Right?
Okay.
There's a bunch of reasons why I tell guys they need to get sexual experience with women. Number one, you need to get an abundance mindset. Okay. A lot of guys get with girls out of necessity and a scarcity mindset. First girl that touches their pee-pee, oh, I want to commit to you. So that's a problem because you're not going ahead and getting with the girl from a position of choice. You're getting with her from a position of necessity and scarcity. That completely changes the dynamics of the relationship, and that's going to put her in the leverage position. That's number one. Number two.
What do you think about this whole leverage thing?
All right. I did want to speak on that. I'll put the link in the chat for someone who, if you disagree with me, there's more things I want to get into, but there's disagreement. There's disagreement in the chat. There's people who are of the view that a man does not. And notice when Myron did finally explain what he said, he didn't say buy a hooker. He said, let me back up and make sure I get it quoted right.
So that's a problem. And a scarce mindset. There's a bunch of reasons why I tell guys they need to get sexual experience with women. Number one, you need to get an abundance mindset. Okay. A lot of guys get with girls out of necessity and a scarcity mindset. First girl that touches their pee-pee, oh, I want to commit to you. So that's a problem because you're not going ahead and getting with the girl from a position of choice. You're getting with her from a position of necessity and scarcity. That completely changes the dynamics of the relationship, and that's going to put her in the leverage position. That's
all right. Yeah. He didn't just say outright the physical act of sex gives you experience and understanding of which woman is a better woman. But if he did, if that is what he was saying, the way y'all are interpreting it is accurate, then to what he says, then okay, then he's not making no sense. But what do y'all say to what I'm saying? What I'm saying in this discussion, in this modern time, in this modern world, that a man does need experience with women. A man does need experience with women to understand them. It's not like you're going to the going to a man's house and his daughter who's been living with him, that he's taking care of, and you're going to sit down and you're going to talk with him and he's going to say, what's your intentions with my daughter? And you're going to lay it on out, and you want to get married to, are you looking for a wife or whatever, and then he permits you to date her, and if things go well, then she ends up moving from her father's house to your house, and then now you take over payments on her, and then it's like if we're in that world, then the guy's experience with women is not that important. They're going to learn and get that experience together. Fifi says, but sexual experience or just experience. I think the two go hand in hand. Like, what in the Steve Harvey 90-day rule are you talking about? What in the Steve Harvey 90-day rule are you talking about? I think the two go hand in hand. How much time do you spend around a man that you're dating and y'all not eventually some sex don't eventually jump off? I think it's possible. I think it's possible that somebody can meet the right girl. And they could be together and stay together, and 20 years go by and they still be together. If that happens in today's modern world, I think you got lucky. If that happened. But I don't think for the most part, the girl that you fell in love with when you lost your virginity at 17 is automatically the right woman for you, and y'all will just work it out. Like, no. I don't think the first woman you go and date when you get out of college, I I don't think that just automatically that no, I think you need some reps, you need some experience, and in the process of that experience, yeah, some sex is going to take place. So people are going to have high sexual partners, and that does dovetail into that contradiction of if the guys are out there having a lot of sexual partners, and that means there's going to be a lot of women with higher body counts, and these women are going to be these inexperienced women. So you end up in a situation where, you know, yeah, those are the effects of hookup culture. Those and in order to put that amount of toothpaste back into the tube, we're talking about resetting the clock to 1950, which is difficult to do, and there are no good answers. Fantastic in the building. He says, are you saying experience overall or choosing a wife/woman for committed relationships? I think that you need a lot of experience overall with women to understand what you're filtering for and filtering out when it comes to picking a woman for a wife or for a long-term committed relationship. That's where I'm at with it. I don't think the man in today's world who lost his virginity on prom night and that's his only sexual experience knows what the hell he's looking at and dealing with these modern women. I don't think he has a freaking clue. I don't think he has a freaking clue. So I would strongly say that guy has no critical faculties whatsoever to understand. Oh, the link not working. Let's get that. Let's see. Well, we got LaShawn Jefferson in the building. What's going on? What you got?
Let me test out your link. Is it working?
No, you in here. The link working for you. It ain't working for Fantastic for some reason.
On this, every man need 50. Can I ask any man that thinking you need 50 before you get your woman? Would you like her to have 50 before she gets you?
No, we're biased.
Yeah, then here
we're biased and chauvinistic.
Okay, no, it ain't biased and chauvinistic. It's just that, yeah, do you need to run through 50 women, be mad you didn't keep 5 of the ones?
Damn, you went out.
And then you can't go back and get a good woman because your mama's in child support?
Well, hold on, wait. Back up some. Back up. Hold on, wait, brother. Back up some. You had went out. So I'm trying to hear you.
I'm sorry. Would it be all right that you mess with 50 women and there's 5 of them you really wish you would have kept around, but due to you sleeping with 45 other women, you got all these baby mamas, and you can't boomerang back to the good woman before she gone?
Whoa! If you found a good one, and you truly assessed that she was a good one, then why wouldn't you keep her? You don't literally just kick a good woman out of your life because I gotta reach the magical number of 50. Again, that's straw manning the argument.
Yeah, and who said you got to get somebody pregnant? You can sleep with 50 women and not get one of them pregnant, bro. You got to stop doing that.
I understand that. No, I'm just throwing out the idea to make us think. But you know what? In a panel of 4, Destiny, the only smartest man there, and Nilo and
Destiny's not a man.
Them 2 on the damn thing. Look, compared to the other 3 on the panel, Destiny is man enough compared to them 3 because they trying to go through 50.
Destiny gets bent over. Destiny's not a man.
It don't matter if his wife peg him. He got a
no,
wife.
By men.
And everything
by
else.
men. By men, brother.
He's been through more than
it's his body, his choice, and as long as you
so a man that has sex with men cannot give men advice.
As long as you ain't doing it to him, none of us is guilty. So that's his choice, that's his body, and
I refuse to take any advice from a man that's getting bent over on being a man.
And also, it is definitely worth pointing out. Hold on, it is worth pointing out that Even though he gonna get clowned for I don't know what's true and what's not true. I just going off what I hear. He gonna get clowned for the pegging or messing with men, whatever y'all accuse him of. But he's had sex with over 50 women too. I mean, based off what he said. I mean, him and his what the fuck is that? Is that a laugh? Yeah.
Yo, bro, I just
based
realized
off what he say. Based off what he say. Based off what he say. The host is talking. The host is talking.
You right.
The host
You
is
right.
talking.
You
The
right.
host
I'm
is
sorry.
talking. The
I'll
host
put
is
myself on
talking.
mute.
The
That
host
was
is
a laugh,
talking.
though.
The host is talking. The host is talking. Hold on. God damn. All right, dude, you coming off real trolling, man. You coming off real trolling. Like you had a laugh that sounded like a car trying to start. And then when I
No,
start
I
trying to
wasn't
talk,
ready
then
for
when
the
I start
truth you
trying to
said, Bernard. I'm sorry. You just came out with truth, and that's what came out my mouth. I was like, damn it, you right. And that's
right
how I
about what?
laughed.
I don't even know what am I right about?
What you said, Destiny slept with over 50 women, and you were making a point. I was like, damn, you right.
Yeah, so that's why I said there's some of the hypocrisy in the discussion, because everybody involved in that discussion, whether we talking Myron, Sneeko, Destiny, or Abba, who was reacting to it, they all messed with over 50. So that was part of the hypocrisy in the discussion. I think they all understand that getting to know and understand modern women in this modern time takes more than your first couple sexual interactions. I'm just going to evaluate her, and I'm going to think I'm going to know and understand. It's like after, like I said, post divorce, when I got out there single and I got out there with my collar popped and started dealing with women and found out how crazy they are, because I thought my ex-wife was an anomaly. I thought her crazy was an anomaly. Okay, let me not go too far with that. But anyway, when I found out how they were and how they really operated, and I gained more experience and more understanding with women and what I would tolerate, what I won't tolerate, and what I won't go for, and what I will go for, and what I expect of them and what's expected of me, and blah, 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 blah. When I figured out all of that process over a 5-year period, the number of women that I messed with during that time was high. Without that experience, I mean, if I had that experience before I ever got married, I would not have got married. It was so much stuff I would have saw. That would have let me know and tipped me off that nah, this ain't it. This is gonna be a bad choice down the road. To where right now, after that experience, I know what I'm seeing and what I'm looking at and what I'm expecting. And it's like I can't, I'm not gonna say I can't make a mistake. I can't go wrong. I still could fuck up. But with the experience and knowledge and understanding that I have of modern women in this modern world, only way I got that experience and understanding of it is through experiencing women. I'm not talking about experiencing knocking up random hoes. I'm not talking about experiencing. I was still responsible during the experiencing. Keep that in mind. So I stand on that point, but I do leave the door open to where if somebody meets, if they're absolutely convinced this is the right person, this is one I need to be with, all right, God damn it, be with her. She's the third woman you ever mess with. If you're absolutely convinced, go ahead and be with her. But I think more experience out there on the market dealing with women would probably have you an understanding and seeing something in this one that you think is the one that you wouldn't otherwise see without that experience. But I'm gonna go to Fantastic and see what Fantastic got on this. What prompted you to come on up?
Well, no, man. So shout out, bro. Appreciate you having me on. Bro, for one, it's getting crazy to me. It's as to why and how this back and forth keeps happening with this Destiny dude, bro. Again, this dude right here is literally the epitome of everything we're talking about, and yet still he gets to be like the loudest voice against it, like when he needs it the most. He's sexually fluid. We'll leave that at that, right? And he's a cuck, to where he doesn't even like his own thing. And I showed this man, he got a thing on here, like in a response to somebody calling him a cuck, bro. You can tell it just eats him up on the inside. He's a nerdy guy. He's a guy that, I don't really use the terms, but you consider beta. So, he's gotten the women that he's gotten, especially his current woman, off of his wealth and, what he's able to give her. And being that he wants to keep her around, he has to be in be on her terms. He has to do relationships on her terms, to where, hey, I'm this beautiful foreign chick, and so on and so forth, but I'm going to be with you because he's married, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, legally married, right? So I'm going to be with you, who's, in order with no prenup. I'm going to get my green card, my citizenship. And if and when I decide to leave you, you're going to hit me off with a nice, settlement package for me even being around you while I do dicks outside of you. You know what I'm saying? Pause. Right. I'm speaking from her thing. But nah, man. For one, man, 50 in 5 year period, brother, that's less than one a month. So, brother, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's not a lot when you think about it.
It was a little more than 50. Less than 100, but more than 50.
Okay, cool. I got you. Yeah, you never get it. Yeah, I got you. Okay, so either way, still, however it goes, right? For a man, that's not wild. But to say 50 is a lot, man. I don't think you need 50 women to go through to figure out what you need and what you want in women. I could say in 20, half of that, you could definitely have it figured out. You know what I'm saying? And what you like and what you don't like, and personalities and all those different things. Now, are we saying just from that too, right? So sexual experience, and just like I'm pretty sure out of those 50, a lot of those 50s was just like, hey, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Either DMs or I ran into you, I hit it, I quit it, I get the fuck up out of there.
Yeah, no, legitimately the way it works, some of them may end up being that, but some of them would end up being, something where, you had to pursue it for a little while, and then y'all, got to the point where y'all having sex, and then it becomes a ongoing thing, and y'all experiencing each other.
Yeah,
and
rotation. And you're like, y'all on the same program.
People evaluate each other for relationships while, being sexually active with each other. That's the way the world works today. Now, if there's some way to truly evaluate somebody for a relationship, and perhaps it could happen, but it's rare, because that person who you evaluating for a relationship and y'all not having sex, and it's been 6 months and no sex is taking place. I mean,
yeah, you're a damn fool.
Yeah, she's fucking somebody else while evaluating you. They like, listen, like, we can't pretend like we don't live in this modern world. You basically just become the guy who's taking her out on dates while somebody else piping her down. It's like, so it's like we can't pretend like we don't live in a modern world. But listen, if the guy, if he truly think he met that perfect chick, then goddamn it, I 100% give you my blessing. But yeah, I don't know how we can speak against men having experience in this world. But the fact of the matter is, the men who get experience, somebody can play on the math and say, okay, now these women are garnering all this sexual experience, but y'all don't want to be with hoes, so it's like you tainting the
pool or whatever. But
I understand that argument.
Yeah, but that's a horrible argument. Like,
okay,
Bernard, for one,
help me out.
One, it's a horrible argument because the majority of relationships fail. 99.9% of relationships fail.
Thank you.
99.9% of relationships fail. Not just intimate, right? Like, it's some people that you meet in your life, and y'all are like, business partners or acquaintances or whatnot, what have you. The majority of human interactions, bro, are not lifelong or even long term. So again, to say this and only put it, because you only put it as a negative to the man, right? Even acting like the woman doesn't have any sexual choice outside of force. A woman chooses, and she's very, very far more selective. It's been proven, far more selective in her sexual partners than a man is. You know what I'm saying?
But isn't it to the point what they say? That's the first thing she's figuring out in the first 5 seconds, right?
Yeah, she already knows. Like I said, a woman knows from a physical standpoint or whatever before you open your mouth whether or not she's willing to have sex with you. She knows. Now it's up to you to mess it up or not. You know what I'm saying? If you just you open your mouth, you sound like motherfucking foghorn leghorn or some shit, or you know what I'm saying, you're a lispy brother. You know what I'm saying? Some like that. But other than that, man, like I said, she already knows, right? But what's happening, Bernard, and it's crazy, right, is men are understanding and adjusting to simply how women have changed. This ain't our moms. This ain't our grandmas. These are these women that are really, you know what I'm saying? They playing the game super dirty. And again, they're trying to outmen men. A woman is never going to be more diabolical than a man, bro. I'm just saying, and that's not a contest anybody wants to win. But again, man, I think people forget, you know what I'm saying, just how crazy it can get. But to the thing, the 50 number, and this is why I say I have a problem with, fresh and fit and people, bro. You go too far. You know what I'm saying? You go too far, you get too hyperbolic, because to say you need 100 of women to determine to choose the one woman. Nah, fam, that's a little crazy. That's a little high.
That's what I was going to speak on. Let me take that one.
All right,
go ahead. Get my bad. Sorry, Tice. Go ahead.
No, what's good? Good afternoon, everybody. Salute, Bernie. Salute, chat.
Salute.
Like he said, I get it. Okay, fine. Rolo was saying the vasectomy thing was for hyperbolic purposes. I think the 50 numbers arbitrary.
I think he just fucked up. I think he honestly thought that.
I saw his PBD thing yesterday or last whatever, and he was saying that he was just doing that. But you laid out a good argument when you talked about, like, when you used the Ben Shapiro example. Ben Shapiro grew up in a community where this is what they do. This is what he was around. You know, my thing as a black man, what irks me or drives my gears is how they're trying to tell young black men, not necessarily, the 50 is just a number. I don't look at it like that. I look at it, why are you trying to hamstrung our experiences? What do you mean? No, what I mean is this. They're always telling black people, or black men in particular, oh, you should do this, or you should do this, or whatever. We can never go out and seek variety. You shouldn't live in that city, or God forbid, you shouldn't come to Florida because the NAACP says it's safe, even though you got 2 residents that fucking live here and shit, or you shouldn't mess with this many variety of women or whatever, right? I look at it as it's not necessarily the number of women, but I do think that a man should go through a different types of women. Now, whether that's different cultures, whether that's different ethnicities, but they should be able to do that, without any scorn, but we know how the society is. And then that'll give them a good range of, okay, this is what I see with this, this type of person who has this more artistic type interest versus this one who's into thought culture, things like that. You know what I'm saying? But you just want black men. And then the brother who Destiny is right, Destiny ain't been right about shit, man. Come on. I don't want to make this about that blue hair motherfucker, but ain't no way in hell no man who gets pegged and then a man who's rationalizing a man's gonna get pegged can tell us any goddamn thing, okay? Now, he can maybe tell us some things of how to get better pegged, like I really want to know, but goddamn it, we talking about man shit here.
Yeah,
okay?
bro.
And then, by the way, when cats say that, and brother, feel free to respond. Exactly, because you went on the deep end talking about, you're going to get some bitches pregnant, and then, like, what? What kind of straw man were you going from? But tell us where Destiny was right and they were wrong based off of the point that I was saying that maybe the 50 is too much because that's 50 different headaches, right? But I'm saying, what's wrong with telling men to have variety? And where's Destiny right in this when he's not even living that? Go.
I'll respond to you after you're done.
He asked me something. Let me answer it. Between the panel, Fresh and Fit, Sneelo, and Destiny. Destiny got more game than them 3 dudes, whether he getting pegged or not. And guess
Are you
what?
serious?
It doesn't matter if he getting pegged. Are you the one pegging him? It ain't your problem. It ain't
All
my
right,
problem.
I'm out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Bernard, please.
All right.
Thank you, Bernard.
Hold on.
This is an anti-pagan, brother. This is an anti-pagan platform, brother.
Yeah, but I had to hold on. Wait for it. Okay, here we go.
This is madness. This is Sparta.
Now that
had to kick him. We had to kick him in the Spartan pit. Now he done.
Yeah.
You gotta laugh at those female talking points, but I see the homie T-Tars on here, so I'm gonna definitely dial back on this.
All right. Before I go to Tito, I'm gonna let this ain't Clarence Jr. This is somebody else named Junior.
Yes, sir. It is.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Junior.
Well, I'm gonna bring a moral perspective to the conversation.
Okay.
If you are gonna get married, be married and stay married. Because, these women, they take their feelings and emotions very seriously. They take it very seriously and they on some fatal attraction shit. So, if you're going to be married, stay married. Now, if you want to play the field, do as you please and play the field. But just keep this in mind. Women pick the men. We are basically out there marketing ourselves to women, thinking that they may be the right one for us, but we ain't the right one for them. That's why they play these little silly ass games with, oh, I'm just not ready right now. No, she's not ready for you. She just don't see you as the one. And they play these games all the time. My advice to men on the panel is this: stop competing for them, stop even approaching them. If you're serious about getting a relationship, I mean, the Passport Brothers, they doing their thing, try that route. Because here in the United States, it's a lot more separated and everybody's in their cliques and their posses. So you got people who don't want to get out their comfort zone.
You hold on, wait,
and
bro.
really
Let's
try
back up.
something new.
You lost me at stop approaching women. Well, explain that one.
Because here in the United States in particular, I mean, I would say don't approach women, particularly here in the United States, because it's a lot more political and it's a lot more separated here.
Hold on. Let's make sure we follow it all the way home. So you're saying that men universally should not date on domestic soil?
I agree with that statement. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's
yeah, brother. That's
I hold on, wait. Just keep in mind. I 100% respect all options being open and on the table, but to say that you should shut off an option, which could be an option, even though
your major option.
This may not be a target-rich environment for depending on what you're looking for. The United States may not be a target-rich environment, but if you see a good target, not calling women targets, you see a good target, God damn it, shoot at it. I mean, if you
this is home, Bernard. This again, this is another example.
I know. When you, I'm sorry if I does. I've been meaning to say this for a while. When you follow the logic all the way home, if you work here, and if you're lucky, your job give you 3 weeks vacation. Most people just get 2 weeks vacation per year. We talking about you're only going to date romantically, sexually or romantically for 2 weeks out of the year. It's 52 of them motherfuckers.
Yeah,
so
stop
it's
it.
like no, it's not incorporate the passport into your whole schema of what you do. But exclusively, that's difficult, and I don't think
your Jergens and Lubriderm account gonna be crazy, brother. You're gonna have a crazy lotion account, brother.
Well, hold on, brother. Here's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Because here, we're out here competing just to get women who basically gonna shuffle us around like a deck of cards. But you're serious about trying to find the one. You're trying to settle down and be a man and be a father and be a husband. I don't think this would be the correct place to do that, because a lot of it with the women is based on status grabbing. Like Tyrese, the singer, said his wife only married him because he was famous and a singer. She never even had no affection or care or consideration for him. She just married him because his name was Tyrese Gibson and he could sing good.
Yeah, Tyrese is a horrible example. He has a history of picking the wrong woman.
Oh, right. I was gonna say that, fan. In defense of her, shouldn't a dude who's been in Fast and Furious 39 now? Shouldn't he have been around to have been seen? Hey, real quick for the show's sake, T-Taw and Junior, y'all avatars aren't showing. If y'all rechange them, it'll.
No, I see the bottom guy. I see the bottom dude. Jay is just what's name? I think it's just you, Tice. Well, I don't know. Right, we on the stream yard.
I make them small like that. I mean, they off to. It's all good. It's all good. I mean, if if y'all can fix it. If y'all can't. But before I go to cousin T-Taw, Dane C said something in the comment. He said you speaking incel. And I gotta start calling this, like is that what's going on here?
That's what's happening, Bernard.
Well, hold on here. I don't even know what incel means. So
okay.
Somebody can explain that to me.
It means involuntary celibate, brother. Meaning that like you want to get the box, but you can't get the box.
Okay, now I understand the terms. Thank you for explaining that. No, I'm not talking on that level, but I'm talking on a level of, if you are serious about finding the one, or finding the one that you want to settle down with, grow old with, watch your kids grow up with, be grandparents with, so on and so forth, I don't believe the United States is the right place, because it's all political and everybody's in their cliques. And so women in this country are afraid to get out of their comfort zones and really see other options. And men are willing to express their options, but women will try to play with these men and get these men to go out there and do a whole bunch of marketing foolishness, only to basically get let down later on.
All right, I'll just reach across the aisle and say that the United States is not the ideal place, but I mean, it is home. But I grant that it's not ideal. But all right, so cousin T-Taw in the building. What's good, man? What you got on this?
Salute. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you good.
Excellent. Well, salute to the panel. Great topic. Salute to your chat as always. But Sir Tice, what's up, man? On the topic, I'm gonna start with this. First of all, when we talk about a fresh and fit, we talk about a sneaker, we talk about the blue hair guy. We're not having the same conversation. Okay. First of all, it's a clash of cultures. It's a clash of worlds. And basically, what fresh and fit promote, what Sneeko used to promote, is what I call commercial game. Okay, their path and their way forward for men is based on a clone version of what we have espoused in this sector of YouTube. Basically, when we talk about having a rotation, when we talk about getting your repetitions, meaning interacting and exchanging intimacy with a variety of women, we're talking about self-discovery. Who are you when you're engaging with these women? Do you know what the anatomy, it comes in different shapes and sizes? Do you know that different women react to your physical presence differently? So that's really the concept behind, the 50 body count number. That's an arbitrary number that I think Fresh and Fit came up with. But basically, what having multiple intimate partners over the course of your progression towards mastery of your masculinity, what that entails is a path of self-discovery. You're supposed to understand who you are in a given situation. As Bernard brought out earlier, post-divorce, he went outside, and I would venture to say that you explored different intimate situations at different venues, at the club, lounge. Hopefully not at work, because I'm against that. Probably,
dabbled a little bit with that, but no, I don't recommend it either.
Right. Put your hand on the stove. But basically, what that I'm let me know if I'm right or wrong. What that showed you was how you would approach a potential situationship in those different environments. So to be honest, if we're critiquing another sector's method of dating, relating, and having intimate encounters, we have to step back and understand that there's a difference. We come from a completely different culture than their culture. We don't eat the same food. We don't dance the same way. We don't take the same way to music. And so we don't have necessarily the same relationship with our counterparts as they do. So there's no universal sort of overall prescription to how a man goes about his path of discovery and mastery. We have our own rites of passage. Okay, whether you ascribe to game or not, you can call it whatever you want. Game is basically social strategy. The way that we strategize in our community is not the same way that I believe what is his name? Fit, he's Sudanese. They don't have the same path of mastery than we do. And I think Fresh is from the Barbados. They have a completely different path of mastery. We ain't even gonna talk about the blue hair guy. They have a complete. So before we can really have a comprehensive conversation about what body count it should take before a man discovers the type of woman that matches his flow, we need to unpack the differences and how we even approach the dating, mating, and relating space altogether.
Man, very well said. I think you summed up better what I was trying to say. Because like I said, post-divorce, I was saying I learned women, but I think you worded it right. I learned myself. Right. That's probably the better way to explain it. And in learning that, I had an understanding when it came to women that I would.
What you going for, what you're not going to go for. You had more of a, like you said, you had more of, I guess, a different look. Like it's like a different look of trying to run a different play, right, against a different defense or a different person playing basketball or football. So yeah, that is important But like you said, they do commercial. And shout out to him on T-Talk for saying that, bro. That really is it. And I guess that's a part of it for them being successful, commercializing, quote unquote, the red pill or the masculine situation. And a bit of getting eyes on you is being hyperbolic. So I say the 50 still is that's why you said 50. And of course, when you do that, then you get the destinies to come in because you're promoting men of having, like you said, just sexual autonomy and being able to be men. Right? Again, men are not monogamous by nature, just not. But destiny has to do the blue pill male feminist thing and be like, well, it's crazy for a man to, and then bring in the talking points of, oh, well, if you're having sex with 50 women, you just turn 50 women into whores. No, I didn't turn 50 women into whores. I dealt with 50 women, and again, I could be number one for all those women, and the relationship just don't work out. All right, a woman don't become a whore, you know what I'm saying, just because she's had a sexual experience with one man. Now she like these motherfuckers out here, they saying doing 20 dudes in a week, in 4 weeks, or in a month. That's a different story. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody that you gotta purchase it from. That's a different story. But they want to always put it on the man when at the same time they argue for women to have sexual freedom and sexual liberation, and a woman can do whatever she wants to do with her body. But if a man agrees with that premise and okay, well, hey, she can do whatever she wants to do with her body. Let me get some of that box. Oh, well, you turning her into a whore. You see what I'm saying? So it's always still the man being at fault, no matter what, even if he's playing by the rules that women claim they want.
And that's a very good point. And
all right, wait, hold your thought real quick, T. Shout out to hold on real quick. Shout out to Salty Balls. I actually missed this one. It was from earlier, but he said any form. Somebody mute up. I hear some squeaking, a chair squeaking or something in the background. Says any form, all thy crimson legions willing to match the weight of the treasure chest. Merchants guild come together in a mighty assemblage to keep the scholar speaking over more between the columns. Thank you very much for that. Do appreciate that. And
for the panel, I have a question for y'all when I get a chance.
Real quick, I got you next, brother. I got you next. Tech Nobility in the building. Tech Nobility in the building says, I can understand having a rotation after a divorce, but seeking out 50 meat curtains. I didn't seek out 50. I just was out there just experiencing the world.
Exactly, man. BABG, baby. It's a benefit. We ain't got to seek it out.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, it's you. I mean, I was seeking out. I wanted some new pussy. Ain't no fronting on that. But I didn't have a magic number in mind. But it shit added up over 5 years. But anyway, 50 meat curtains while trying to build to the best version of you. There will be significant trade-offs, time and money for sure. Yeah, and balancing that was an issue because I did realize too much time was being invested in the chase in pursuit of women. There's some people who could only invest 3% of their time in it and still have a sex life. Me, I didn't. My game wasn't that fast. I didn't have no quick direct mode one. It's popping off tonight with a woman I met. At Walmart. It's going down tonight. No, my game took a little more time. It took time investment. So yeah, it was time consuming. But shout out to Joseph Zenin. Oh, I'm sorry. Joseph Z. Shout out to you. Appreciate it for $5 cash app. Appreciate everybody supporting the stream. Go ahead, Junior. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You got the mic.
All right. Here's my question for the panel. Do you think the women here in the United States are less feminine than those who are outside on international waters?
No.
Can you name a specific area? That's broad, and there's a reason I'm asking that.
Well, because here in the United States, the women here don't seem to be all that feminine anymore. They tend to be more like feminine/masculine, trying to play two roles at one time.
Bro, those women are forced feminine, brother, because those men don't have the same laws we abide by. The major complaint as to why the passport bros say you cannot bring her here is once you bring her here, she's no longer under the literal hand of get right that she's under in her home country. When she comes here, brother, unless you plan on staying abroad and never coming back home, she will be the same woman that is here eventually. And too many people are talking about this, bro. Whether she be Asian, African, Latin, or whatever, dog. Those women are where they are because, again, those men have tools they can use we can't use here.
I wanna first of all clarify what he means by feminine. Are you talking about soft, friendly, and fit, or are you talking about cooperative? Because there's a difference between surface sort of softness, that hourglass figure. Are you talking about like having a feminine marketing rep, or being a feminine person, meaning cooperative, nurturing, and responsive to the type of man who has a program that he can impart on her? So depending on what your definition of feminine is, you're going to get a different result. And that's why you have to go on the journey of self-discovery, because what you put out, you're going to get back. What a lot of men are discovering, including those who travel internationally, because I consult and I coach with them, is that women operate the same way no matter what continent you're on. I'm going to say that again.
Thank you, bro.
Women operate the same way no matter what continent you are on. You are the one that makes the difference in how they respond to you, which is why you need to understand that this is about a journey of self-discovery for the man. You can take a man who is self-aware, who understands who he is, and has a program, has a mission, has direction, has his situation together. You can take him from any continent and put him into a different cultural scenario, and what a given woman in that foreign cultural scenario will do, she'll not only come under his sort of leadership, but she'll also show him the cultural mores or the cultural customs of that space, so that his operation can flow more smoothly. So when we talk about the difference between femininity and masculinity in terms of ethnic background, or even environment, in terms of what continent you're on, that's relative to the man. Who are you at the beginning and the end of the day? What is it that you are there seeking in the first place? Are you seeking a counterpart? Are you seeking someone to assist you in your journey? Are you seeking someone to start a family? What type of family are you trying to structure? Okay, these are all questions that you need to have sourced and explored within yourself before approaching a woman in the first place. And I'm going to say this one other thing and pass it back to the panel. Another key thing that Fresh and Fit and sort of commercial game peddlers get wrong, the whole premise of that 50 body count number came from the viability of the dating coach, the viability of the teacher or the mentor. So that premise came from, okay, are you going to take advice from a man who doesn't have at least a 50 body count, rack? So
okay, got a question for you before you
hold
go
on,
any
hold on,
further.
wait, real quick. Wait, time out. What do you mean when you say the viability of the dating coach?
What's the body count?
Right. The amount of sexual encounters that you've had with the opposite sex. That's what I mean when I say body count.
Thank you.
So when that concept was first put out there, they were trying to sort of legitimize themselves as dating coaches. So, but the question kept coming up was, well, how much experience do you have
exactly
to relate these experiences to other men? And they're like, well, you need to have at least 50 bodies in order to be a legitimate teacher of this philosophy, or a mentor of this philosophy. So it kind of got flipped, and they tried to outsource that component of this, so that it's just, if you're a man and you rack up 50 bodies, you're going to automatically have the experience that it takes to know how to manage a relationship with a modern or average female. But that's not the case, obviously. So many people got that wrong. And so this is the proper way to espouse that scenario. Would you go to a surgeon who's only had 3 surgeries? Would you go to an optometrist who's only done 3 LASIK procedures? No. you want somebody who has a high procedural count.
Mhm.
So they took that and they put that onto the so-called body count scenario, whereas your repetitions, your experience, the more numbers you have, the better you are at doing this thing. So you'll be a better man in a relationship if you have more bodies. And then they just said, screw it, we'll just make an arbitrary number, 50, and you good to go. And that's where all the confusion came in.
I'm just curious, how can a man sleep with 50 women? I mean, maybe one or
Is this
two,
dude
maybe
trolling
at
us?
3. No, I'm not trolling you at all. I'm not.
Well,
I'm
hold on,
not.
brother. Let me take, brother. Hold on. Let me. So, are you familiar with the space? Because you're not familiar. You're very unfamiliar with a lot of the verbiage and a lot of the terms. You didn't know what an incel was, and you just. But surprisingly, brother, you don't know what a body count is. So that's why.
Well, hold on, brother. When I hear body count, I'm thinking about murder. So I'm not thinking about.
Well, brother,
body
you don't
count
sound
in
like
the
the murdering
sense
type.
of,
You don't sound like you don't sound like you've been hanging and banging, brother. So, I mean, just saying.
Just on the math. Hold a second, just on the math, brother. If you go from 18 to 40, you do that 3 or 4 bodies a year. That's easily over 50 right there.
Yeah, 50 is not a lot of bodies for a lifetime,
that's not
man.
really a lot. I'll just charge you.
But that's a lot of energy being exerted in the bedroom at a time, bro.
Brother, no, it's not, brother.
Hey.
You've heard, if you watch the movie Boomerang when the woman said, "I hope you catch a disease when your dick falls off."
Stop with the movies. T-Tal made a good point about commercial game peddlers. I think that they are a necessary evil. But Bernie, you was going to say something about Destiny being a necessary evil. Do you remember what that point was?
No, I wasn't saying necessary evil. Somebody had commented, they had said, I don't know why. He said, I don't know why people like Destiny. And I said, I don't think anybody likes him. But I mean, he is he's a worthy detractor in terms of putting together an argument that forces people to challenge their own views. And for him, it's just he's nobody that anybody should take advice from, but he is good in terms of just playing the game of, I'm going to run a fine-tooth comb through everything you say and try to pick it apart and find something wrong with it. And then now you got the challenge of, defending your position because somebody he's a skilled debater. That's it. End of. He's a skilled debater.
And to the point, I shouldn't call them not commercial game pillars. I shouldn't say necessary evil. I'll say this. Look, we do have a group of guys, because I know every guy in the chat, got times 50 bodies, or times 3 by 50 bodies. Everybody knows everything and all that, right? That's how it is here. Those guys are lames, and what they doing, how dare they have their own podcast talking game, right? Whereas I look at it like you have, I look at it from the reality picture where there are some guys who have no clue and they're younger guys. And yes, I would want to see a younger guy. He doesn't have, and just because you listen to somebody doesn't mean you absorb every single thing that they say. Okay. I'd rather see a 21, 22-year-old listen to those guys, get exposed to some of the ideas, go out there, see what happens, but they're doing it from their own experiences versus this whole vanilla view that is promoted out there that we know doesn't work.
Yeah, I want to explore the whole idea, the concept of, commercial game peddling. Now, I'm no game coach, and I'm on record saying, I don't got no game. I did I did good. I did all right out there. It was some women I was just their type. I'm not trying to promote fantastic, BABG, but it is some women that do just they just like a big black ass nigga.
Understand your story.
It just is. But I never thought that I had, game. I'm that guy. I talk to myself out of more sex than what I talked myself into.
Hilarious.
And, so when we talking about a commercial game peddler, I'm throwing it to T-Tal on this because what I hear some people doing, and this happens heavy in the game coaching industry, is other game coaches shitting on other game coaches. I'm the one with the real game. Where is the line drawn? What makes somebody?
Is it more of a rap? His game is more of a rap. Like, how can I rap to the shorties to get them to come over to me?
Is that Junior talking?
So
No, that was not T-Tal talking.
No,
That's
no,
Junior.
that was
That was Junior talking. Yes,
Okay,
Junior.
all right,
Yes.
go ahead,
That
Tito.
wasn't.
no, yeah, no, I put that out there because I put the term out there, commercial game. So commercial game is the sort of sanitized vanilla version of foundational game. Foundational game came from Black men in America specifically, out of the material conditions that we found ourselves in. This came from the Mac. This came from the Marvin Gayes. Whereas on the white side or the European side, they come from a Victorian sort of virtue chivalrous derivative over here in the United States. So they're trying to be like Romeo and Casanova. We try to be like the Mac and Marvin Gaye because our sort of culture is informed by men who knew how to speak to women because we didn't have the same material reality as those who were in a colonial position, so to speak. So we had to be able to speak just like we play music improvisationally. We had to be able to speak just like how we rap, freestyle. So with us, it's more so about your mouthpiece and the experience that you can bring. It's not about flowers, chocolates, candies, taking out to the county fair, shoot an arrow to get a teddy bear. No, with us, it's about spitting that ism, meaning understanding enough about yourself and getting your flow, the way that you present yourself to the type of woman that you want a situation with, getting that down in a way that effectively conveys your intent. Because
that
in our
just sounds
culture,
like a bunch of game.
well, think about it. Well, that's literally
you
it.
said that.
You got it.
Said that ism and knowing thine self and
But he is correct though. That's exactly what it is. He is correct about that.
You the one that said I can't see 50 women, maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, brother,
But now
come on
you
now.
on some.
For me personally, I've been with 8 women.
Okay. So the thing about it is this, and I think that you set up a perfect scenario for this, Bernard, saying that you don't think that you have game, which that's not correct. I think everybody has game. It's just that
weak
people,
game.
right. People have various stages of development. There are even levels to game. So first you got commercial game, which is over there, and we have foundational game, which is over here. But you also have levels to your game. The first level of game is the elementary level. And that's what you learn when you're on the playground in grammar school. On the boys' side, we learn, how to spot or mate select or mate strategy. On the girls' side, they learn how to select or to choose their mate. In grammar school, at the elementary level, we're learning ourselves in terms of athletics. We learn how to self-defend ourselves. It's called slap boxing. I know you from Michigan, so you know what slap boxing is. But also at that developmental stage, we're understanding, what the opposite sex looks like, how they move. We're watching them. We're engaging with them. Like I said, on the playground, we're engaging with them at our developmental points in life. So we have a sort of acculturation that happens together collectively. That's the elementary form of game, which is, boy gets girl, boy meets girl. On top of that is the intermediate level of game, which is what we talk about in terms of relationship management. Are you a monogamous person, or do you practice ethical non-monogamy, meaning that you are the type of man who knows that he is built a way so that he can manage multiple relationship dynamics honestly? Because remember, we're talking about foundational culture, and what underpins our culture is keeping it real. What does that mean? Be truthful. Be truthful with your intent. Okay, keep it 100, as you got out here, on certain panels. But basically, our concept of game has to do with, again, who you are as a man, because that's going to inform the type of women you approach, the type of women that you allow into your space, the type of women that you give rank. I think, again, Bernard, you're an example of the type of man who gave a woman who you found to be significant enough in your life rank, right? You brought women into your program in terms of allowing them to manage aspects of your business, right? That's all a part of intermediate level game. You need to be able to understand how to manage and leverage relationships to the ultimate advantage of your mission. And so that's just the second level of game. The third level of game is the philosophy. How do we qualify reality itself? What does it mean to have a mission? What does it mean to have direction? What does it mean to be my own person within a collective, right? When we talk about the high value man, right? Kevin referred to that as the one of the key components of being high value is having a high value network. And if you don't have that, meaning that you can't relate to men of a similar stature, how are you going to execute your mission? How are you going to establish the type of relationships and build the bonds that establish your legacy? So when we talk about game on the foundational side, there are levels to this. And as a game mentor, coach, or teacher, you need to understand those levels. And what happens is we understand and appreciate those levels through our experiences, which allow us to teach and mentor and coach others. And to speak to the point that you mentioned in terms of some so-called game coaches trying to hate on or disrespect other game coaches, let's be clear. Game recognizes game. So if a person is espousing what I call commercial game or vanilla game, or what they're saying doesn't make sense, then of course it's going to get called out. But if a person is on point and the advice and the methods and the tools and the instructions that they provide their student, their mentee, or their coaching client makes sense and they can apply it in reality, then that's game recognizing game.
All right. Anybody else want to chime in on anything that was said by
Well,
TT?
again, man, the game portion, look, bro, I'm not anti-game or whatever. Game exists. Yeah, I get it, but I don't know, man. I'm just not with letting another man hold your penis access to vagina. That's pretty much what it is.
So pause. Pause. Where do you get that from? Because that's a straw man that you needs to unpack. We need to unpack.
It's not a straw man, brother. And again, shout out to you. I've heard of you. You like one of the OGs in the space and whatnot. So respect. But it's just the whole. This is my first time talking to you, so I don't know any of your content. I don't know any of your things, and you're very, very good at explaining things. So shout out to you for that. But the game coaches that I know of that are more frequent here are the STDs and a guy that's married but has an open marriage. You feel what I'm saying? Those two individuals.
So let's bring it back to the man. If you're, and I don't want to make this personal because I don't know enough about you, but if you're the type of man who can manage an ethical non-monogamous relationship, and that's how you express your prowess, that's how you express your masculinity, what's the issue?
No, it's not. No, that's not an issue. Being able to express a ethical, non-monogamous relationship is not an issue. But I don't know. That's what most men do. Most men deal with a woman, on his terms. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact of the matter that, again, a man having to look to another man in order to be able to do that, not for long-term purposes.
Well, let's take that. I think you make a very good point. That's quite valid. Let's take what you just said and let's apply that to the modern social landscape. How many men are in prison? How many men are absent from the homes? How many young men actually grow up under masculine mentorship? Just be honest.
That's a great point.
Because we talk about the single mother epidemic and how a lot of modern men, especially in the Western world, are feminized because they're left to the devices of the social order, which is highly feminized, or to their single mother led household. So why wouldn't men who want answers seek the guidance of men who have been where they're going? Why wouldn't they seek the guidance and the mentorship of those who they can archetype? If you know what I mean, we talk about personality typing. So why wouldn't you look to that in order to to type for yourself.
Well, again, this is what I would say, because again, the answer I always use for this: you have two identical twins, right? The people that look exactly the same, but they're totally different personality types, totally different people, and going to have totally different effects with women, or totally different outcomes with women. You trying to coach a guy that shout out to, what I'm saying, light skinned brother, man. You light skinned dude. You know what I'm saying? It's totally different for y'all than it would be for a dark skinned dude, or a short dude versus a tall dude.
Fantastic. Are you?
I'm gonna get it in there, man. No disrespect. I gotta get it in there, man.
Time out. Fantastic. Are you trying to say that a light skinned brother can't give a dark skin can't?
Oh no, hell no. Come on, Bernard. No, once I see Brother T-Tall, I got to go to somebody else, man. Listen, man, I got a black brother. I'm sorry, brother. You know what I'm saying? I don't be using no Bath and Body Works. I don't be in the mirror for an hour and a half a day, brother. I can't do nothing with it, brother. You got me, brother. I'm out.
Draymond Green can't learn game from
hell no.
Steph Curry.
Hilarious. Listen, it's the beige brigade all day. Beige brigade all day. But look, you make a very good point. You're talking about differences in presentation, and you're right. Women are going to respond differently to one man's physicality than another man. A woman is going to respond differently to an Asian man or a white man or a Mediterranean man than she would a dark-skinned black man. Absolutely. But guess what? The point of these conversations is so that you, the dark-skinned man, understand who you are, what your abilities are, what your positive attributes are, and how to maximize your presentation. Because you and I can approach the same woman and get her differently. I'm going to approach her the way that I know myself within my own personhood would approach, and you are going to approach your way. But what's the end result? What is the desired outcome from the two of us?
Let me say this, man. Let me say this. Listen, you're the first guy that has not tried to do what Bernard talks about. So, like I said, shout out to you for that. You're not, well, you know what I'm saying? You need me. You don't even come off as you need me to get the vagina. So so that's what I'm saying. And a lot of what happens from the very, very small of what I see, you know what I'm saying, here or whatever, when those people come up with, it's like, hey man, I get more box than you. And you're not coming off as that. You're not saying that. You're actually being extremely analytical and covering all the bases, from personality types to the mental, the woman interaction, cultures. So hey, bro, you are the first dating coach that's cool with me, brother. Like I said, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't sign up for you because you're light skinned, but I would definitely recommend all the light skinned brothers come your way.
Well, you can get the book though. Hey,
you got a book? I'll purchase it, brother. Let me know, man. Drop the link or something. I'll definitely support it, man. Because you legit, man.
Let me level set it real quick. So, fan on this sector, the so-called dating coaches and things, you don't consider yourself a dating coach or whatever, so I'm not going to put you in that box. But over here, what a lot of those guys have done in the past on this very channel is, if you don't agree with me, then you ain't shit, or you don't get no hoes, or this, or I can just hear your voice, So they immediately run to that little straw man argument. So that's his reservation, that he's been the main one to go at all of them. So,
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Hey,
No.
Who you say been the main one? I'm sorry, I had to step away. Who you say been the main one to go at all the dating coaches?
Who do you think?
So who did you say?
Hey, bro. I done slung.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
okay. Cool,
I mean, fan has guns loaded at these. No, but you know what? They have been on some BS, So
this is why dating coaches do got kind of a sour taste. While people in this space, got a sour taste in their mouth about dating coaches, because a lot of times would people like me, on my channel, what I do, people like Fantastic, like we give social commentary about a lot of stuff in Black America, particularly the shit that women do and its effect on society, and we're giving a broader macro analysis and social commentary. And then a lot of the dating coaches, they'll come in on some, no, that ain't it. It's just that, if you just had some game, or if you just, you just can't get no pussy. That's all.
Yeah, you don't know how to handle a woman. And it's like, brother.
Yeah. I'm talking.
You're 5'2", 50, and you got a bald head, brother. Come on now. Your feet dangle off your chair.
If I'm having a broader macro conversation about the effects of feminism on society. Don't come in and try to say they just some beta males that can't get no pussy. I mean, no, it's like it's almost like it's a different venue where there is some overlap to it, because if somebody's giving social commentary on the effects of feminism on society, it can transition into a conversation. Okay, now what does a man do in given the environment that he finds himself in? It can go from the macro to the micro, but they straw man the macro and saying them niggas just can't get no pussy. So don't watch them, don't listen to them. Come over here. We gonna get you real. It's like it's like they doing the some little, poach the audience, a little audience heist strategy to try to,
dirty macking.
Like,
game coaches that are professional dirty mackers.
But then there was the ones like, ARC, who I built a good relationship with, and we just collabed because he understood that, okay, I got an audience where I'm giving social commentary on this stuff, that I'm drawing a group of men. He gives personal one-on-one, micro, help and coaching to men. So if somebody in my audience want to go rock with ARC, and he even said that there's people that he got from my audience that became either his Patreons or his one-on-one coaching sessions, and it was just a good business relationship without any hating and saying, don't listen to that nigga, he ain't gonna help you get no pussy. It's like no, just come over here, let's collab, we can be friends and have a business arrangement. But so they got a fucked up content strategy that I think that just left dirty taste in everybody's mouth.
Do most dating coaches use their egos to try to persuade people to listen to them?
No, well, it depends, and this is really where the listening ear of the audience comes into play. Bernard, I think you made a good point in terms of when you're having a conversation at the macro level, when you're looking at the entirety of the social landscape, you can't necessarily try to shoehorn in the fact that most people don't get pussy. I agree with that. Because, like I said, there's levels to it. You're coming at it from the philosophical level. Well, let's look at the geopolitical landscape from a top-down perspective, and then we can get into the weeds in terms of interpersonal relationships.
Yeah,
and that's why I think it's important to define those levels of the conversation. That's why I go with the elementary level, intermediate, and the advanced. But to what someone else I think mentioned, I forgot the person's name. When coaches clash, or when personalities clash, that's made for TV, entertainment. Let's just be clear. At the end of the day, if you get in any of these people on a one-to-one basis, or like you said, well, in ARC, rest in peace. Of course, he was an outstanding character, but he was very intelligent. He was very knowledgeable and experienced. And the way that he would position his information was in a way that was digestible by a majority of people, I think. So I can't speak for coaches on an individual level, but like I said, when you're choosing someone to listen to, or even to just try to take some value from, I agree. You should listen to the levels in which they can present their information. Can they talk about the elementary level, which is, okay, this is the first thing that you need to say when you meet a woman at the bus stop, or you meet a woman at the lounge. What are the things you should be looking for? Those are the skill sets. That's what I refer to as the skill sets of seduction. Okay, so my background, and we're not going to make the show about me. We could probably have a different conversation. But my background is in seduction, so I would consider myself to be a seduction coach. So I teach primarily the skill sets of seduction at the elementary level, but I give a window and a basis for the intermediate and the advanced level, which takes into account the philosophy, the environment, situational awareness. You need to know where you are in order to apply a certain strategy to get what it is you want. If you're in Paraguay, you need to understand where you are. You need to know that you are dressed as a gringo. You're dressed as an outsider. So you're going to be treated as such. So who do you look for in terms of having an interaction with? Who do you want to exchange an intimate experience with? You're going to look for the outlier. Every culture has an outlier. There's just one example, But if we want to talk about a higher level take on that, but yeah, and to bring it all the way back around to I forgot the gentleman's name. He mentioned people flying overseas or whatever.
Mr. Fantastic.
Okay. Okay. For to find their counterpart or to find someone to start a family with, you really have to be introspective about that. Who are you here in the United States? What are you made of here in the United States in terms of your financial situation? What is your vocation? What is it that you hope to establish in that foreign space? What are the local customs? Because just like we're on the internet right now, those women in those, obviously the whole situation with the passport bros exposed a lot of the nuance that comes with looking for a foreign counterpart, right? You got entire countries coming after guys, for leaving a bad taste in their mouth from just from an optics perspective with the Brazil situation. But at the end of the day, in terms of the type of coaches who leave value, I think that it's up to an informed audience, which I think you do have on your platform, Bernard. It's up to the level of how informed the audience is to listen to the message, receive it, apply what matters to them, and just leave the rest. Just leave the rest, because not everybody's going to have a rotation. Not everybody can have a roster. People don't even know what that understand what those concepts means. But if you're built like that, and if you have that sort of social bandwidth, then that may be an option that you want to explore.
All right, and to Clarence Jr., he's saying this was a back and forth we're having in the chat room, which I don't need to be typing in the chat when I'm live on the air. But damn it, now I can't even find what you said. Damn it, you said something, and I want to respond to it. What was that first thing that you said that I had on the screen? No. It was the other one before that. We was talking about the pot calling the kettle black.
Basically, how apparently.
Okay, he said the point is every. All right, nope. It was the one before that. It was shit. Where was it? All right. Here we go. Is it okay? He said. I got it. He said, "Isn't that y'all's content strategy against B1 and Blue Pill though?" I think he was referring to when I said people engineering fake disagreements where there really isn't none as an attempt to just try to poach the audience. I call it the Ocean's 11 audience heist, where you fake a disagreement with somebody you don't really got that much agreement with, or you pretend like they're saying some shit that they're not saying, or you exaggerate fake disagreement. Like, I don't got fake disagreement with Blue Pill people. Like, for example, you, Clarence Jr., me and your disagreements are genuine disagreements. We're literally two people on an opposing side. Sir Tice sent me a clip of Lucario when he was on that Jubilee channel. Lucario said a bunch of stuff that we all would disagree with. We actually
would agree with.
I mean, yeah, ain't that what I said?
No, you said disagree.
Oh, no. He said a lot of stuff that we would actually agree with 100%. So, I mean, like they could say, so that goes back to what he said. The other thing that Clarence said is that some people have legitimate disagreement with Red Pill. Is like, no, from a marketing branding standpoint, they don't call themselves Red Pill. But when you break down everything that they're saying, it would fall under the paradigm, what everybody else would call Red Pill game. But so from a marketing branding standpoint, they want to criticize and say anybody that says Red Pill or Manosphere, they're getting it wrong. They're all wrong. This is now let me give you some real game. And then they'll go say some shit that everybody who calls themselves Red Pill or Manosphere would agree with 95%. That's where it gets fake. And that's what I meant by that. So it wasn't about somebody just having a genuine disagreement. Like, I talk about the people who wear the title pro-black and then they say a lot of stuff that's, I think, is antithetical to black people thriving. I criticize that because I genuinely disagree with them. But it's not like Tariq Nasheed trying to criticize Jason Black when they know they agree on everything, but one of them just trying to kick dirt on the other one to try to steer the audience away from them. That's the fake shit I'm talking about. And I think a lot of dating coaches do use that strategy, and that's what I was calling out. But somebody like that got genuine disagreement, I have no issue with that. I have no issue with a genuine detractor, but people be faking their detractants. He said,
Well,
game dudes and a host of others genuinely disagree with Red Pill, and then they go and turn on their camera and look in the camera and spit a bunch of Red Pill game. Yeah, okay. It's like that's where it get fake. But all right, moving on.
Well, this is
all right, he got one more. He said the agreement is what is happening to an extent. The disagreement is the cause. There's disagreement on who's the cause. What's this? Okay, all right. He just rambling. Okay. Anyway, all right. Go ahead, Sir. He was trying to jump in.
I was just trying to get you to stop right there because he's a lightheart he's a lightheart troll. He's cool, but you know how Clarence is with that.
Yeah.
I like to say that when we have disagreements here, we actually do point to level of specificity. You know what I'm saying? To whereas we can actually point to things where we disagree.
What'd you say? I was laughing at Fantastic Super Chat.
I see. No, I was just saying that when there's disagreements, whether between sectors or not, we can actually point to specific points to support that disagreement where it's not personal. I was listening, not to get this off, but there's a beef between two content creators. One's a former cop, one's an ex-pole dancer or whatever, if you guys know who I'm referring to. And the ex-cop who was featured on here, he name dropped you, by the way, too. He had said, yeah, her manosphere supporters. And I'm in my head like, damn, why does everybody dump on the manosphere? I don't know.
Wait. He name dropped me?
Yeah, well, no. He name dropped you in a positive sense or whatever, okay? But
okay. I was about to say, I know he ain't called me her supporter.
Not like that.
Oh, but where he did some bullshit is he tried to say her manosphere supporter.
Right. And I'm
like the manosphere. Man, that's another thing that's annoying. That anytime some hate or criticism got to come, they just got to put the label of men anywhere doing something wrong. They got to call it manosphere. That shit is crazy. I went and actually watched her shit. I said this on the stream. I went and actually watched her shit just to investigate, see what's going on. I saw dudes super chat and all kind of queen goddess shit like manosphere niggas don't talk like that. This
is what I want. This is exactly what brought me up. This is what brought me up before even Tea Talk came up. And I think it's important where a lot of this fits in. Just based off of that exact point, I think there's so many men that are so starved of femininity that they will fall for any form of performative femininity. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting.
Because the hate that was coming to that brother, and if y'all don't know what I'm talking about in the chat or whatever, to bring you up to speed, there's a police officer who's been featured on here, Nathan Daly, okay? He's got a beef with another content creator. You all know who it is or what have you. All right. So he was doing a rebuttal because apparently that other person broke their truce. All right. There's the background. The amount of vitriol that he was dealing with, where dudes were just coming at him like, that beautiful queen. I'm talking about on his channel. I'm like, wait a minute. Man. And anybody with any modicum of game or just street smarts can see that everything is an act with this chick. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, dude, it was embarrassing. And that's why I say it's important for dudes to just recognize certain things. It's like y'all are falling in love with an avatar. She's not an avatar, but you get what I'm saying.
Might as well be. I mean, she's pixels on your screen, your monitor. Right. I mean, like you don't get emotionally attached to that. That's just weird. But all right. I mean, I hear what you're saying. Fantastic in the building. Shout out Bernard for strengthening the light skin, dark skin delegation relations. Absolutely. Whatever I could do. JC the Conqueror in the building says good stream. Absolutely. And shout out to everybody in the building. Do appreciate everyone supporting the stream. Hit the like button. Yeah. This space was responsible, like we call it a game wars or something like that, where it was a huge back and forth and debate. I think it was overblown in this space where people was debating, game and some people was coming down on the side of saying, you know, game isn't real, it doesn't exist. Of course it exists. Some people oversell it. I question it, and this is just my own. I'm probably the only one that added this to the conversation. When it comes to game, I've always said there's good. Somebody can teach you good do's and don'ts. You know, like somebody can teach you some very good practical do's and don'ts. You should do this. You shouldn't do that. You want to stay away from doing that. You know, there's shit like that. But a lot of it is just, I always say a lot of it you can't teach, you know, because a lot of it is just your just natural, just who you are, you know, like your ability to read people and connect with people and think on your feet in a conversation. Like a lot of that has something to do with your game when it comes to initially approaching. And a lot of that is just in you. It's like you either have it or you don't. You can improve on it.
I somewhat disagree with you. I agree with where you're going. But if you're in a scenario, for example, let's say you're in a foreign land, right? Let's say you have no access to cell phones. You're gonna figure out the customs real quick, you know, and figure out a way to survive to get something. You feel what I'm saying? You know, even though that may not be your disposition, I'm saying, you know, even though you may not be an outgoing person, you don't know the language, you're gonna figure out because you're forced to be in that situation. I think whereas when you're in these social situations, you don't have to be an extrovert if you don't want to. You know what I'm saying? But you can, you know, some things can be learned, is what I'm just getting at. If you're willing to learn.
Well, yeah, you can learn. Just like when I got out there post-divorce, I learned some things, but there was still some aspects of it that, despite me putting in a lot of time trying to get, you know, consistently, you know, better at it and used to it, there was some aspects of it that I just didn't get good at. Whereas, I mean, I had some friends, some guys I worked with, some guys I met along the way. I mean, and keep in mind, these guys, they weren't your prototypical, you know, 6'4" in the gym every day. Actually, I was hanging out with a dude like that. Me and him went to school, and we just happened to be hanging out at the same club because, you know, we was both single at the same time. I saw him get rejected more than the 5'7" dude with a receding hairline that I worked with, that I was hanging out with. He just knew how to connect with people. He just
Perfect.
was that people person.
You just highlighted the perfect sort of reason why a lot of men benefit from game coaches, teachers, and mentors, because of what you just said. You can have a 6'7" or a 6 foot plus or ideal prototype. I call them Alpha Showpiece, or Brown Wills will call it a Mr. Goodbar, or whomever. This ideal sort of archetype of a man striking out. Why is that? Like, how do you
Yeah, but my thing is, though, that 5'7" guy with the receding hair. I mean, it wasn't just a George Jefferson, but his shit was kind of back, but it wasn't no George Jefferson or nothing.
LeBron James.
But the fact of the matter is, what he had, I think is just difficult to teach that. Like he just was on it. He was in the room. He was telling, like, he just knew how to connect with people. I can't explain it. He just knew how to read people. He had like elbow me, like, man, you ain't see that? I was like, see what? He was like, man, that girl trying to get at you. Like, what girl? That one, right? Like, I'm like, he just was like, he just hit the room, just was just on top of everything. He could just walk up to a table of women with resting bitch face and just break the ice with all of them, have them all laughing, and just like he just had a skill with people. And
So
I was like, what he had, he couldn't teach me that. He can give me some good pointers and good do's and good don'ts, but he couldn't teach me that. That man had a gift. That's anyway. Go ahead.
No, those are all great points. Let me ask you this one question: with the gifts and skills that the 5'7" George Jefferson hairline dude had,
he didn't have George. It wasn't George Jefferson, but it was. Go ahead.
All right, we'll call him 5'7". With the skills that he had, and just the ability to be dialed in, and his ability to survey the landscape, was it good enough to get you laid? Meaning, was he a wingman for you? Could he pull women that you benefited from? That's the ultimate question.
But I can't say that he directly hooked me up with something, but I mean, I see how it could could happen if we, given enough time, it would have happened. But yeah.
And again, that's another example of a scenario that a mentor could have brought to your attention. Hey, the next time you're out with 5'7", say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. See if he can go scout and bring one back to you. Have developed your the logistics of, once he brings her back, this is how you continue the conversation that he started with her at the bar. And this is how you transfer from this venue onto a more intimate set. You know what I'm saying? I'm setting up the different progressions that a coach or a mentor would spell out to you. Because let's be clear, all of us have a set of skills that are natural to us. Okay, they're called our native skills. So if I were to ask you, this is me giving you a little, we're doing a little culture session. You ready? All right. Would you consider your look?
Go ahead. I'm play ball. I'm play ball.
Right.
Go ahead.
You on the spot now. So, would you consider yourself to be a low level, mid level, or high level? I don't want to use some offensive terminology. Game guy, Mac player. Like, how would you assess yourself? Low level, average, mid range.
I'll say mid level. I'll say
mid level, meaning that out of 10 women that you find attractive, we're not gonna go by anybody else's standard. 10 women that you find attractive, how many could you close upon approaching? Closing meaning not only getting the phone number or a date, but progressing it to an intimate setting.
Ooh, see, that's okay. See, I was the dude who I only really approached if it was, I don't know. I mean, shit. I only approached like if it was like choosing signals of some what they call choosing signals. I didn't call it that. I wasn't familiar with none of this when I was out there. But so
basically,
I mean, probably. I don't even want to. I want to say 1 out of 10. I want to say 1 out of 10.
And listen,
I want to say that, but that's probably that may very well be too high.
Right. This is why Bernard is a good guy, because he's keeping it real. All right. Most guys would lie about that. Most guys would lie about the scenario that, because I set it up perfectly for you to lie. You could have said 5. You could have said 7 out of 10.
No.
But no,
that's a goddamn lie.
You took a personal assessment and you went through all of the scenarios where you were actually in that situation. You came up with an honest response. My role and my responsibility as a mentor, teacher, or coach is to bring you from 0 or 1 up to 5 to 7 to 10. Just approaching, putting your presentation out there, not necessarily looking for the outcome of progressing that interaction to taking her back to the hotel or smashing or making her your girlfriend or whatever. No, just taking your initial engagement in that scenario from 0 to having an enjoyable exchange. That's the role of an effective mentor, coach, or teacher.
Okay, right. Pause for a moment. I have to have a question here. When you were out there, Mr. Riley, were Black women or non-Black women the ones that approached you, or the ones that you approached the most?
Wait, hold on real quick. I got to turn this TV down in the back. Hold on.
Hold up.
So while the host is okay, he's back.
All right, I'm back. All right. All right. So yeah, what's your question?
The women that you approached or who approached you, were they Black women or non-Black women, or a mixture of both?
Women don't approach that much. They will show choosing signals. And when it comes to choosing signals, white women don't show them, or they so subtle you don't know if she's just being a friendly white girl or if she's flirting. But with Black women, I knew when Black women was flirting, because they pretty damn blunt with it. Like I always say, they'll look at you in your eyes, look down at your dick, look up at your face, and then look away. They do it real fast. It's So that's like I knew when black women was flirting and throwing signals. So most of the women I approached was black, because I only approached if it was choosing signals. So so that answers your question.
Thank you for the answer.
Yeah, and so you can imagine how just with that amount of experience that you have, how much that can be amplified by someone who has the methodology, who has the experience, who has the timing, who has coached other men successfully to get to 5 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 10 out of 10, or if it's in a target-rich environment, just that one that you want for the evening, or one that you see enough potential in to establish the type of relationship dynamic that would benefit you the most.
Mm-hmm. We got Ed in the building. Okay, let me do something real quick, because Clarence Jr. is just getting annoying.
Thank
He's
you.
just
Cool, man.
derailing the conversation, and
This is madness. This is Sparta.
yeah, I know what to do. Don't block him. Just time him out to infinity and beyond. I don't want to see him.
Y'all need to do the ejectocito cuz in Tyrese's name. That's funny.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all?
But what's going on? And I do want to make it clear, because I ended up, talking about how many women I actually had sex with over a course of a 5-year period, and because we was talking about that Myron Gaines 50 or whatever, and so
Oh, that's where I was wondering where that came from.
Yeah, Myron Gaines, he had said something like he'd recommend a guy have sex with at least 50 women before he, get in a relationship or marriage or whatever. And, and I was arguing that post-divorce, when I got out there and was pursuing women, and the experience that I gained in over like 5 years, being single and being out there, had I had that experience and that knowledge, and then look back at when the woman I married, I would have saw shit that I would have made me not even marry her. So I was arguing that you do need that experience. That 50 is an arbitrary number, but you do need that. You do need some reps. You do need some reps. So that's what the conversation was. And now we got all into T-Talk giving me a game consultation. But I like it,
man.
I like it though. I like it though. But no, I don't need a game like I said. My game was weak, but I still did good. I worked around it. But I just wasn't that dude out there when it came to just hollering at chicks, and but I ended up doing good. There was some chicks I was just a type. I don't know. So I did all right. I did good. But go ahead, Ed. What prompted you to come up?
Cousin T-Talk kind of prompted me to come up, but there was a couple of other stuff too. I'll say this. First of all, y'all should subscribe to Cousin T-Talk. I don't have a problem with game, but there's too many folks that are using that from a content creation perspective and not from like a true coach perspective. Shout out to Cousin T, shout out to Rom as well.
Agree.
They are actually, and that's the issue. That's why I like a lot of. I'm not gonna mention him because that could kind of money it up. But this is one of the reasons why I promoted mode 1. That's not the only way to do it, but I think what that did a good job at doing is really dealing with the internal mechanisms that need to be dealt with, because you have to deal with that in order to be able to effectively do that. A lot of people think that's just about being a pretty nigga and you can't do it unless you're pretty. That's not what it's about. It's about you putting a woman in a position where she can give you an up and down vote, and you take the BS out of it. And the problem is a lot of dudes don't want that vote. They don't want to see the result of that vote. And the point is, that's your job as a man. Your job is to be able to take the answer she gives. Now, this don't mean she just disrespect you and embarrass you and go all over the top. But you're supposed to be able to take that no. And a lot of dudes can't take that no. And what happens is with game, and this happened, white boys were doing this in the 2000s, is it became how to avoid rejection. And that's how it was sold. And because that's something that a lot of dudes will buy into, that's what burnt out kind of the golden age of the dating market. And the white boys got a lot of that stuff from black dudes anyway. And they repackaged it into that mystery method and magic bullet and all that other shit. And then a lot of them white boys, once they burnt that shit out, they became red pill magically. And it became women are trash. Because women, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you made a very good point in terms of learning and understanding how to take rejection. And a lot of coaches would say that it's not necessarily a rejection as opposed to a lesson. You're learning, how you respond in a given scenario. But no, that's a very good point, especially talking about the PUAs versus foundational game. PUAs, that's about manipulation. That's about sort of distorting reality, whereas game is about presenting reality. Who are you to begin with? Why should she be messing with you in the first place? And that's really, at the core of what is taught and mentored. You need to learn who you are. What are your benefits? What benefits can she gain from messing with you, from interacting with you, from dancing with you, from transferring?
Yeah, but is there a distinction when you're talking about game, or you're talking about game coach or a PUA? If you okay, I understand
Yes,
that
there
you
is.
well, no. But I'm trying to narrow a distinction because I understand that with game, I know T-Tar would say, you talked about going forward and why should she be with you or what's this or but when you talk about the initial approach, the initial approach of that woman, I don't see a difference in that.
It is. PUA is tactical. Like PUA is more tactical.
How was game not tactical though?
Because game, like T-Talk can explain it probably better than I can. He already been explaining it, but I was gonna talk more on the PUA side of it with what you were saying. The thing where PUAs start messing up is when they start trying to sell people the idea, like I said before, of minimizing rejection. It's kind of like, imagine if you were playing baseball and somebody said, how can you get like a 500 batting average? Barry Bonds doesn't have that. You hear that? That's automatic bullshit. And I don't care who's talking. I don't even care if it's Michael Jordan. Like that's automatic bullshit. And that's where it gets sold. But where PUA does work, or is effective at giving you a more like if you go into a club or you go into a social setting, helping you kind of see the social setting as to kind of taking it's the emotions, it's the social stuff and this, and kind of bringing that more into people that are more logical, as in this is kind of the roadmap I want to go, and this is kind of generally how I want to get here. The difference though with game is kind of like, as far as I'm sure Tita explained it, but it's like all the work before. It's kind of like the practice and the training before you actually get to the game to start running plays. Kind of. It's who you are, like your ability to, your inner work, your, stuff like that. And then but Pete, yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, and just to dovetail what he just mentioned, when you talk about a PUA, they're trying to teach and train guys how to ignore rejection. With game, you're supposed to recognize that rejection and keep it pushing. Don't take it personally. It wasn't.
It's more esoteric. It's more game requires more esoteric stuff. That I don't want to go into esoteric, but it's more in that. Yeah.
Let me back up, because he said PUA, they're taught to ignore rejection. Game, what did you say? They're taught to what?
To acknowledge the rejection. If she rejects you, you keep it pushing. You go to the next.
Understand rejection is a part of the process. No.
You keep talking. No. When I say when the PUA say ignore the rejection, they keep saying keep escalating on that woman who just rejected you. That's what I'm saying. So she's rejected you, but you're still talking to her like a cornball, trying to buy her more drinks, trying to sell this. This dream, this fantasy, this non-real thing to try to convince her even after she's rejected you. But that's where the issues come in, because she's already rejected you. And so at this point, you're making yourself a mark. And the any interaction that happens beyond that point, more than likely will go south. Okay, let's just say she rejects you, you buy her a lot of drinks, and then she's plied with drinks, and now she's sloppy, and then you take her that way. For a PUA, they're like,
let me ask you this. I mean, hold on, real quick. It would obviously be stupid to get a rejection and then say, "Oh, can I buy you a drink though?" As if that's going to change. Okay, we agree that would be stupid. But
no, it's actually not stupid.
Hold on for a moment.
Just stop. Don't get Spartan kicked. Who was that? If that was Junior, you've been teetering close to getting Spartan kicked. All right. Here's the deal. If a chick says, if you start trying to holler at a chick and then she hits you with some of that, no, I got a boyfriend or something like that. Okay. If you depending on your character, you can, say you could respect that and move on, or you could, like, would you say that a dude still, probing? Like I've heard a lot of dating coaches who diss PUAs say they just ignore that shit. They just keep talking to her. So I mean, there is a line where a woman will try to give you some light rejection, and then you just ignore it and just move past it. I mean, I've heard a lot of game coaches.
So that's
even ARC say that, when a chick, give him some resistance, he may still say some slick shit to her that might get her pussy wet.
So resistance and rejection, those are two different things, and I think that it's important to highlight that. An outright rejection is what you mentioned before. Oh, no thanks, I have a boyfriend. Oh, okay, well thanks a lot, you have a great evening, move on to the next. Resistance is who are you? Or you know what I'm saying, like some type of playful engagement where she's testing to see, some people call it shit test or whatever, she's testing to see if you are who you're presenting as. So there's a very big difference between rejection and resistance. So just so that we clarify that distinction right there, that really fits with the hallmarks of PUA versus game. With PUA, it's manipulation. With game, it's realization of who you are and presenting that to the woman that you desire to acquire.
Also, I want to add to PUA, and I'm not even about to say, I'm not even on some PUA versus game thing. I just want to be clear about where I stand on it. Although they tend to go into the sales part of it. But what I will say is PUA is about.
I'm glad you said, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm glad you said sales, because in all good sales, they say you haven't really truly started selling until you get the first no from that person. That's when you really start selling.
Objection. Objection handling.
But even then, there's there's difference between trial ejection. There's differences even in that, but I get that. But my point is, PUA, I'm gonna say it in a slightly different way. PUA is about bending her and bending the social situation. Game is about bending yourself. So think of it more as self-control. Like so when you look at control,
give me an example of bending yourself. I understand bending a woman, and I'm not being
so again, how you respond internally to being rejected, how you respond internally to your insecurities or stuff like that, and that manifests in your overall presence. That manifests in your charisma. That stuff manifests outwardly.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, so my point,
game is more esoteric and
So when you look at, think of it in control. There's 3 levels of control, and this is just me talking. I am not no game nigga. So let me, like, when I say game nigga, I am not. This is why I'm thinking about. So when I say game nigga, I'm talking certified. I'm a nigga with an opinion. So I don't want to hear no niggas in the chat. So you take that for what it is.
No, Ed, you're on our side. You come over to our side.
I'm when I say game nigga, I mean niggas try. Oh, why aren't you? You're not showing this. Why are you talking? So I just want to be clear about that. T-Top is the expert on here right now. So so people can say I didn't say that. But what I will say is there's 3 levels of control. The ability, and no, I did not get this from BGS. This is what I already knew. This is your ability to control yourself, which is self-control. The ability to control someone else, and then how you do that is where BGS will come in, like buying them off, forcing them, and influence. And then there's the ability to control your environment. What PUAs teach primarily is how to control the other person by way of influence, and the other person in environmental control, aka that social setting. And they usually do it based on repetition and stuff like that. So if the woman picks up on the patterns and they respond negatively to that, they don't know what to do. Versus game is more focused on the self-control. Why does that matter? That matters because think of if with the PUAs ran into an issue is when they were selling their stuff, people were picking up on the patterns. The women in whatever scene, the Miami scene, the LA scene, they were picking up on patterns, like what a neg is and stuff like that, because it was being put out there too much. And these guys would just melt because they didn't have any. Think of what's his name, Peyton Manning. Why is Peyton Manning good? because Peyton Manning could read a defense and he could literally call audibles on the fly. If you can't, PUAs don't really teach audibles well. They teach do this, do this, do this, do this, and then if you're good at memorizing like a couple of tactics and stuff, you'll get through most situations. But if things happen and you come into a new situation, for example, how would you approach that situation and you've never seen it before? This is where this is why game is generally more individualized, and it requires a coach a little bit more than PUA, versus the PUA stuff can be packaged and sold in general principles. Now, I'm not saying that the PUA stuff is bad. I think it has its place, but these things aren't put in their proper context. And even though what's called in the chat was saying tomato, I get that, but these things are they are significant differences, even if they don't seem like there are differences. Because
So
so anyway.
No, you made a great point. And we can
real
bottom
quick.
line it.
Wait, real quick. I do want to pass it down the panel. We got just being jazzy, a person with ovaries on the panel. What do you have to say? What do you got?
Wait,
We probably
it's my
got
turn?
too far up.
Oh,
Holy
yay.
shit. Whoa. You're loud.
Sorry.
You're loud. Turn
I know
that
I'm
down.
loud.
Back away
Sorry.
from the mic. I know he's probably way far upfield from the time that you came up. So before we get too far gone, where was you? What's up? What's on your mind?
Oh, I don't have to go quick, but I kind of do because I'm taking a test. But I love your channel. I'm thankful for all you guys, Ed, and all that. And I wanted to include something. I don't know how to say it completely, but I was gonna say all of you guys are right. But I think with everything you guys are saying, I think with everything you do in life, there is the type of person that you're born with everything you do and don't do. But there's also you know how you don't know everything. So you can be doing anything in life, like what you're talking about here, or anything. You can be, is a thing, you can be doing everything right, and then you still get certain outcomes in life that's you know what I mean? Not expected. And you're okay, why am I getting this? And sometimes you can be, wait, how do you say it? I forgot. It's other factors something else.
That got to do with me.
Sorry. I don't know how to say the other thing. The main thing I was trying to say was okay, with anything you're doing, you can be told or know, hey, yeah, this is right, but then sometimes when it matters or don't matter at anything that you're doing in life, someone sees something in a prejudice type of way, where it's okay, yeah, I did everything right, I'm this and that, but then, or I did whatever, and then it's why didn't I, this thing didn't work, why did this thing didn't get fixed, or why I didn't get this or that.
Just being jazzy. I don't know how what you're saying necessarily relates to anything.
I think Jimmy Butler's going to have a good game.
No,
is this your first time? Wait, real quick. Try to turn down the volume. This is your first time coming up on my show?
Yes.
Okay, it is.
I watch you all the time.
I know it is good finally talking to you. I've been seeing you in my chat room for a very long time. Been seeing you in the chat room for a very long time. So it is good talking to you. I don't know. I don't really know what you're talking about though.
So what I'm saying was I don't know the color or the person who said something to what I was saying, because all you guys were on par with me in a way, but you know how no one knows everything as far as anything. You can know one thing and not know another part of something, or you cannot know something at all. So what I'm saying, the first thing I just said in regards to that is he said where you go somewhere, and I mentioned that because he said when you can go somewhere and you think one way and that's not always true, that's a thing. So you gotta know who you are, and then everything else with that too, just like anything you do. But sometimes you're good, sometimes you're not. You know what I mean? Because you might think, oh, I'm good because of this and that, and then that's not always the case. It depends sometimes. sometimes it is.
I think I can solve this riddle. I think I can solve this
All
riddle.
right,
I can solve
thank you,
this riddle.
Jeffy and Jazzy. Good.
Oh, no, she's
talking
a
to
nice
you.
young lady, but
I know she real nice. She real nice. I just
Sorry, no, I can explain it more. I'm gonna let him go, but I can explain it more. I just sometimes get confused.
You're good. We gonna pass it. We're gonna pass it. Thanks for coming up, and thanks for good finally talking to you for the first time. RM, drop her link. Drop her link. RM, her channel easy to find.
You can have one piece of the puzzle, but to know yourself, you need to know where that missing piece is. I think it's kind of what she's saying. You may not have that missing piece, but at least you know what the missing piece is, and you're trying to search that.
All right, but just to
go ahead, T-Taw. Yeah, you were trying to
bring it
jump
up
in on something before I pass it. Go ahead.
Listen, first of all, your comment section is savage. Okay, hilarious. But just to bring it 360, when we talk about the major difference between PUAs and game coaches, is this the sales scenario that you brought up? That's perfect. In sales, what are you selling?
They say yourself.
So when you talk about with PUAs, what are they trying to sell the woman?
Their self.
Their self, or this image, or this projection, or these lines, or this made up version?
I think with anybody, I mean, if you're trying to holler at a chick, you're trying to bare minimum present the best version of yourself or the best representation of yourself. I mean,
representative
in a brief conversation,
you're selling a representative.
Whether you're calling it PUA or you're calling it game, you want to sell that you're a solid dude or a decent human being or a not so decent dude. And whatever it is, whatever your angle is, you're trying to sell it the best you possibly can.
That's my point. With game, you're not selling anything. When game, it's a presentation. With game, you already know who you are, and you know how much she can benefit from being in your space and in your situation. You're presenting her with the opportunity to experience something that she's never experienced before. That's the difference between the PUA manifesto and game. Hey, I got this, I got 50% off of gold watches. That's a PUA. Hey, I got this opportunity of a lifetime. You either coming or you're not. That's game.
But wait a minute. But what if you don't have an opportunity of a lifetime?
How would she know unless she chooses you?
And that's the point of developing.
And that's why it's the same. Both people are telling a lie.
No, like
whoa, Bernard, you're not a lie, are you?
I'm not a lie because I'm not selling her that she can get an opportunity of a lifetime. I'm just Bernard,
Who is Bernard?
Cute and
that's what I'm saying. Who is Bernard? Yeah.
I'm just a dude. I mean, I'm not about to give you my elevator pitch for why a chick should mess with me, but either way it goes,
and I just want to
say I'm trying to sell an experience of a lifetime. I mean,
not
put it like this. I think the game is to have that ability to convey the message to a chick that is going to be the experience of a lifetime dealing with me. I think if you could present that, sell that, and most importantly make her feel that, then you're in and you're gaming properly. But either way it go, it's a presentation of trying to present something that really is just you're just a dude. I mean, I don't know.
Listen, you had it. You had the spirit of 5'7" for 2 seconds, man. You had that spirit. You touched it. You're presenting your true self. You're presenting an authentic experience. You're not presenting some canned line. You're not presenting, this rented Bentley. You're not presenting this lifestyle. You are presenting this relative present moment that could be of a benefit to this woman that you desire. That's pretty much it. And if she declines, that's on her. Whereas with PUA, the rejection is like, oh, okay, let me try it from this other angle. Let me try to inception, because I know you like to use that here. Let me try to inception it to where she can think that she made the right choice, or she's buying what I'm selling, and that always ends up as a negative sum situation. So that's pretty much what I would say the biggest difference is.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell you listen to me in the clouds quite a bit because you be using some of my phrases. I always say Inception. Well,
Listen,
I don't think I say it that much, but you caught it though. But
listen. When you put good stuff out there, man, people catch it. That's the
all right,
point.
cool.
Yeah, it's
Appreciate it.
like I said, man. And as far as the other thing was gonna have me come up here, like with the game versus red pill stuff, as somebody that does do sales, that does do marketing, it really annoys me how dudes come in here, and there's even some dudes I respect that came here like ARC didn't do it as much, but he did it a little bit. How they come in here on some. And recipes ARC. So I'm talking about other people that really do it bad. I'm not gonna name. You know who these people are, the Carios and stuff like that. They come in here talking about I'm that nigga, you the little nigga. You need to get to my level, the level that they present, and they come in with this paternalistic attitude on the red pill guys are basically just niggas that can't get pussy. As if child support was not one of the main problems that was being talked about in the Black Manosphere 2.0. As if things that happen after you fuck a bitch was not the main things that dudes are really talking about.
Yeah.
Because that's what dudes were really dealing with: divorce, child support, stuff like that. And then you had the game dudes who always were there. When I say game dudes, you got people, whatever, anybody that gets under that umbrella at this point. And you had certain ones that had different approaches. Like I said, Rom had a different approach. T-Ty had a certain approach. ARC was on that good side of her approach, although when he got mad, that other side came out. And that's because, with the Obsidian stuff was really what drove that, to be fair to him. As you niggas are not this and you need my shit because you ain't this. And that approach is fundamentally cannibalistic to the space and what the space is doing. Because even if you're somebody that's able to communicate stuff in a way, because the T-Top talk about at the same time, how he came up on here, he also said too that at the end of the day, you also have to be able to recognize what environment you're in, what situation you're in, how you apply, how you fit in that environment. This is why I get so angry, not really, but kind of, that folks bastardized Ron Will select and non-select. That was not an alpha and beta thing. That thing was it was literally a mental key in order to see how you fit in an environment, and then you can therefore know how to approach it. There are certain people that they will be select just off the strength that they're light skinned, because that's what the chicks on. That was never supposed to be a reflection of who you are, because certain people can be selected certain environments and non-select in other environments. Now there's certain dudes that have game, they can kind of put themselves in select in most environments, right? But pre-qualification never gets talked about. But my point is that you have this thing where it's this unnecessary internal battles of game versus no game, because dudes want to now associate everything with game. Game is life, game is everything, literally, and they want to make everything game because they're trying to manipulate black men into getting dollars selling coaching that's worthless. Now some dudes got good coaching, everybody don't. All coaches are not created equal. They're selling half hour or 1 hour sessions or whatever, and you got dudes that are not. Notice how you never hear nobody assessing what people are saying. It's always game versus no game. It's never which dating coaches are the best and why. You don't even got to shit on the ones you don't like. Just say which ones are the best and why. I just gave you an example of why Ron Wills is good. I gave you an example as to why Alan Roger Curry was good. That conversation is never had. It's just internal bullshit. Because most people, I'm gonna say something done. Most people are not on the no game under any circumstances train. Everybody is in spectrums in the middle, but we have this BS conversation like we are, and that's the type of stuff gets on my nerves. Anyway.
All right. We got to go to Cold Steel. I don't know where this is going to end up. Going to Cold Steel, but shout out to Cold Steel. Do appreciate you. Been a channel member for a minute now. So salute to you. Go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic. And homeboy in the back, Mr. What is that? Predictor? Oh, I can't even tell what that say. I'm not letting nobody else up because I'm about to wrap this up. But go ahead, Cold Steel.
Hey Bernard, thanks for putting me on, and shout out to everybody on the panel. So I have a fresh take on this game stuff, and I can show why a man doesn't need a 50 body count. Even though I'm not making a judgment call if that's what you're into and you want to sleep around with a bunch of chicks. And here's why. Because I believe that the man's job is to not come off as thirsty, and get the woman to position yourself as a leader, and basically it's so I think the easiest way to do that is to and as far as going on a date, the man's job is to have the girl have a good time on the date. That way she'll rather go on a date with you instead of the next guy. So I would say, so what I do is I pick a girl that's into the same stuff I'm into, and then pick a date where you're both going to have a good time. So and that also positions you as the leader, since what you're doing on the date was your idea. And also, if you're doing a fun activity, you're not coming on coming off as thirsty, because you're having fun in more ways than one.
All right. Thank you. No, thank you for that, Coach Still. Look, yeah.
Nobody's gonna check me and prove me wrong.
No, I mean you didn't say nothing too controversial. You didn't say nothing too controversial.
Right.
I'll let cousin Tito respond to that if you want to. And then we'll wrap this thing on up.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, salute to this conversation. I think it was a great subject. Hope to stop by again. But
no doubt.
To what the gentleman said, I think every man benefits from mentorship, whether it's from on a professional basis, whether it's from an athletic basis. Every man benefits from the mentorship of a man who understands what it takes to get him to where he wants to be. And when we're talking about here in terms of game, when I say game, I mean foundational game, okay? From the originators of it. We are talking about the source material of that which we call game. So we first have to make sure that we understand that that's the definition. So when we talk about the philosophy of it, yes, we have a philosophical curriculum for what we're talking about. So there's levels to it. It's not just this cold approach, canned lines, bang 50 chicks situation. And I think that that's an oversimplification of something that has the ability to take a man who's inexperienced in life and in social strategy to be at a point of expansion and personal development, so whereas he can actually affect change in a way that's meaningful to him and the people that he engages with. But with that being said, thank you so much, Bernard, for having me on. Hope to talk to you again in the near future.
Oh yeah, no doubt. No, this was great. You definitely made the show today and drove the conversation somewhere that I didn't expect it to go. But no, definitely great conversation. And yeah, and see, they said, look at that. They said, can you do a show with cousin T-Tall? Yeah, definitely. Hit my, I don't know your email. Is your email on your channel accessible? Or you can, mine is in the about section. So you hit my email. We'll do something.
I got you.
So I have one more thing real quick about the 50 body count is that you might need a 50 body count if you have no experience. Then if you have no experience, how are you going to know that you need the 50 body count?
Because Myron Gaines said so. Not just playing.
All right.
but we about to get up out of here.
All right, thanks.
Thank you everybody for supporting the stream, everybody watching, everybody who came through. Appreciate each and every one of you. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.